podcast is brought to you by Donnells Motorcycles, Bar to Bar MX, Missouri Vintage Motocross Championship, Keaton Fonholtz Real Estate, Fox, Lapking, Kansas Motocross Championship Series, UFO, Rippinruts, Boom, and Innovative MX Training. Gimmick, the official coffee of hard work. Do you need coffee that works as hard as you do? Go to gimmickcoffee.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of dark roast coffee. Available in whole bean or ground with priority shipping. You'll be brewing and ready for whatever the job throws at you. Gimmick, the only gimmick is in the name. Over the Bars podcast. Never live. Always behind the ball. Consistently inconsistent. Absolutely guaranteed to go off topic. Where fact checking is not a concern and off-color commentary is all but a guarantee. This is OTB.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Over the Bars podcast. This is episode, I don't know, we're in the 60s, I think 65, 66, perhaps even number 67. And I'm going to start it off right by a watermelon RB. Gentlemen, cheers. Shall we cheers?
Cheers. Cheers.
Yes, very well. Watermelon RB, it's the summer edition.
Never heard of such a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing.
I actually didn't know it was a thing either.
Shall we just fucking hit it hard right off of the bat?
Go for it. Bam.
Bring the question. What's the question? I want to know. I'm dying to know.
Do we need to just go ahead and throw hot topics in, or we just throw the question at it?
Which question?
You have a question.
Oh, the old Greg question?
Yeah.
Well, Greg has a question for the Over the Bars podcast. He would like to know, what is the proper washer spacing for the assembly of the rectifier for a 1972 SL350?
What?
He specifically called me and said, I have a question for the podcast.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And he said, write it down. So I wrote it down.
Let's unpack this.
Hold on. Yeah. Do we need to repeat it again? I think I need to hear it again.
One more time.
Okay.
Now, hold on. Could you do it? Hold on. Wait a second. Go.
Proper washer spacing for the assembly. Oh, wow. Let me start over. We need to know the proper washer spacing for the assembly of the rectifier for a 1972 SL350, the rectifier.
Well, since you said it that way.
I'm fucking crying right now.
Mm-hmm. Anybody know the answer?
I don't even remember the question. Let me read it.
Yeah.
Washer. Okay. Proper washer spacing for the assembly of the rectifier. Now, hold on. I need to unpack this.
Okay.
What exactly is a rectifier?
Not a clue.
I think that a rectifier was what a silencer now is.
I don't know.
know.
It's usually regulator rectifier,
Okay.
which is like a stator, which is like part of the stator charging system.
Yeah.
That could be.
No, I would guess. What's an SL350?
It is a Honda. What did he explain it?
It is a Honda 4-stroke dirt bike with
2 cylinders.
2 cylinders. It's 2 175cc cylinders. Did he say it's the only twin cylinder dirt bike that's ever been?
I don't know, but it looks like a street bike, but it's a dirt bike.
Okay. From a 19... Okay. I mean, I had like a 82 XL80, which would look like a street bike, but was a dirt bike kind of thing. But an SL350, which... did it say 350?
Yes.
So that would...
It's got like metal tank and
metal
fenders.
tank, metal fenders, not real high off the wheel.
It sounds like...
That's new.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I haven't.
He
heard
rides down to my house from his house, circles my house, honks the horn, and circles back around and rides back to his house.
that. And you just gave him a
Yep.
wave.
Sometimes I'm not even home.
Is it blue and yellow?
Kind of like a, not a blue, but like a aqua.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like the first generation of bikes I started riding after 50s.
And
Obviously not
He
anything
also
that
has a 175 or 100 and a 90.
Is this thing in like showroom condition or is it rough?
No, it's pretty. It's not showroom. It's not like mint, but it's nice. But like he just rides it around the farm.
Yeah. All the bells and whistles work and
Yeah.
everything?
Turn
No
signals.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll see him turn it into the shop and he'll turn the turn signal on.
Yeah.
Just because.
Or a regulator rectifier. There's
I have come to my answer.
Okay.
There is no washer spacing. There are no washers for the rectifier.
So it was a trick question.
It's a trick question.
He's just trying to screw us all up.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless there's
Damn it, Greg.
unless there's another piece to it.
no, there's no way. This mounts directly onto
Right.
the frame or something like that.
Right. It does.
Do you know what a rectifier is?
No.
It looks like a RC car CDI box
Oh. Okay.
or whatever that is.
Okay.
A solenoid.
I wonder how many people are going to like just listen to this and just laugh at us for not knowing this information.
I wonder how many people that. Yeah, exactly. How many people actually know the answer and are just like, "Ooh, ah, ugh."
Well, there's one for sure. We know there's one for sure. Hey, do you say for sure or for sure?
For sure.
Yeah, I guess I say for sure, like fur sure.
Like
Yeah.
a fur coat.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. For sure.
that's a regional dialect thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
In other regions,
Well,
they
just
say
like saying wash or wash. Do you wash your clothes or do you wash your clothes?
You know what
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of lately? Process instead of process.
Where have you been hearing that?
Just randomly.
Okay.
I always say process,
Yeah.
and I've just lately heard people say process, and I'm like, it catches me off guard. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying.
Do you
it's-
guys say soda or pop? Another regional.
Growing up, I said pop, but now I say soda.
I don't.
I also say that.
Yeah.
Or I used to say like Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Even if it wasn't, if it
Yeah,
was Sprite,
just-
still
yeah,
Coke.
Everything was a Coke.
I think I say Coke. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to McDonald's, get a Coke.
Well, that's just
Yeah.
like sometimes like I'll go to text you and I type in Rippinruts and for a
Yeah.
cell phone,
Yep.
or I do the same thing for Keith, like KP Bad Wrench.
Yeah.
It's like no, that's not what it is.
Yeah, there's been times whenever I've gone by someone's screen name and not their actual name, and then realized, oh shit, I'm doing this wrong. Shizzle.
Dirt Monster 247
That
was my AIM screen name.
Dirt Monster.
Yep.
Kind of like the old Pocket Monster.
Yes.
Yeah. One does very different things. So, really? I feel like yours was like RM80MX 247.
I had multiple ones.
Yeah, well, I mean,
'Cause
we
I
all
thought it was-
changed them.
I thought it was cool to make new ones,
It still is.
so I had lots of them.
Yeah,
But the last one that I remember was Dirt Monster 247.
that's a good one.
I wonder if that's still like if I still
Like
have
still
that email.
available. Do
Yeah.
you still have a Dirt Monster 247 at AOL?
Yeah.
I remember Scott's final AIM name. Do you?
I'm 8 on the CR.
If you say it, I'm.
Bump X off.
Yes, it was. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And my last one was Idolize XXX. God, we were so straight edge.
Was that right around the time you got it tattooed on your stomach?
So core. I'm trying to think if I still had. No, I still had AIM after I got it because,
Sidekick.
yeah, I had AIM on a sidekick. And I was well north of 18 with sidekicks. Hell, I'm 31 with a sidekick still. Have you seen my sidekick tattoo?
No.
Tattoo? I got one on my ankle.
Because why not?
Why not?
That's
Yeah.
it's an iconic piece of history.
See, okay, that's how I feel. It's
Yeah.
like whenever we are 55 and looking back, and we've got our little 1 inch by 1 inch glass square that has a cell phone that's just a button that you have in your pocket that's connected to the implant on your eye. I think it'll be fun to look back and be, the same way that we look back on the Nokia 5550s.
Yep.
That we played Snake on.
Oh, man.
That you could throw off the top of the building and still.
Yes.
And
answer
then
the
run
phone
down
call.
and make a call on it.
Right, yeah.
That every once in a while you'll come across that rare grandparent that still has one.
Respect. That just reminded me.
They haven't charged it since they got it in 92.
Yeah.
Still going strong.
Remember the super philosophical episode where I was talking about virtual reality and
Yeah, with the kid from Kansas.
who was on?
We were talking about the Terrians and shit, but what was that kid's name? Kirk.
Yeah, Stephen Kirk.
Stephen Kirk. That's it. It was the KMCS episode.
Yeah, who's Stephen Kirk?
He was the most improved rider of the year of 2018 in the Kansas Motocross Championship Series.
And you think he's an alien?
No,
No, you might be, but he's not.
No, we just started talking about virtual reality.
It got
Okay.
weird.
Yeah, it got real weird real quick.
Okay.
It was a good pod though. It was a fun one.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
clearly didn't listen to it.
I
I don't think I listened to that one.
No.
Or if I did, it's already erased out of my very short memory.
Have you gotten into any podcasts?
So I've listened to some of Joe Rogan's stuff, but it's very not selective. Like I see it and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good one. I'll just start them, and if I don't get into it within 10
15,
minutes,
yeah.
I'm like, next. I don't even look at who it is. I just
I have a hard time with Joe Rogan.
If I can give you a tip about Joe, number one, first thing you do is automatically scroll 7 to 8 minutes in advance from the start of because it's all commercials at the beginning. So just go 7 or 8 minutes in and then start listening. The best ones to listen to for like you will be the science and technology guys that come on and talk, about the future, essentially. Those are really interesting. They're also the ones where like you have to not really be doing anything else while you're doing it. But like for you, it'd be like if you're going to listen to it at work, it's fucking impossible.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part is I'm doing too many other things.
Yeah.
And I haven't found that one episode that just did it for me.
Yeah.
Like the podcast that I really like, and we've talked about it before, is Lance Armstrong's podcast, which
Yeah.
it's a lot of cycling talk, and you kind of have to be into that. But it's done well, it's produced well. It's they don't do it like this by any means. It's just it's a good listen. So I don't know. It's usually around the Le Tour de France time frame, so you're kind of in the.
Mike,
but you
what
gotta be into
exactly
that.
do you think he means when he says do it like this?
I will post a photo of what our rig is here.
I think he's saying that they're not as high quality
I think so.
and that they haven't reached the pinnacle of the podcasting that we have. I think is what he's saying.
If you don't have 17 miles of additional cable sitting on top of a table where you can't even see your own hand on top of it, then don't come at me.
Yeah.
That's when
We could
talk.
probably jump rope and podcast at the same time with this cord. Or lasso in. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
A lot of splitters among splits.
We have double splitters, double helix splitters for our studio quality headphones. Panasonic's at that too. That's how you know.
I am happy about the upgrade on the headphones.
The headphones really make a difference.
It really does. Yeah.
You're not distracted by anything around you.
Which for you
Is huge.
yeah.
Huge.
I mean, a gust of wind a mile away. And you're, huh?
What was that?
Squirrel.
Squirrel? Yeah.
Easily. Oh, wow. I didn't really bring it. I didn't even know we were doing a podcast today. Yet here we are.
Here we are.
I did. I knew we were doing it. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, yeah.
For me.
Well, see, yeah. But I thought it got canceled. I
of
just missed
coronavirus?
the memo. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
By the way, everyone listening, we are 6 feet apart. We all have masks on. We have gloves. This is a very safe podcast.
We're actually in 3 different rooms.
And if you're not listening with a mask on, you should be.
Yeah. because this shit is garbage. Yeah. Poisonous.
That was the funniest part, walking in and hearing your dad talking about all of it.
He's wild.
Man, wilding out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
If we can, let's just try to not talk anything Corona.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was at the grocery store and it's only one way through the aisles.
Isn't
and
that funny?
I was going the wrong way and I choked on my own spit and started coughing while going the wrong way in a one-way aisle.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the scene it caused. The guy in a wheelchair, which automatically there's something terribly wrong with him and it's got to be contagious because he's in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. He's going the wrong way at the grocery store coughing.
You know,
I didn't have to pay for my groceries. Just get the fuck out. You don't want... That's exactly what happened.
Sir?
Yes.
No coughing.
That's right.
That's so funny because there have been times whenever I've been out and I'll go, and I'm just like holding it in. And
it's always like the worst timing.
At Walgreens.
Wherever it is, it's always the
Yeah.
worst timing.
The pharmacy.
Yeah. And I'm like, nobody look at me.
Okay, no more Corona. We're done.
That's it.
What about the Corona commercials? Have
God
you noticed
damn
that
it,
they
Scott.
marketed that pretty well?
It's bad, dude.
I think their stock has taken like a huge hit, just the brand itself.
Oh.
I'm talking Corona alcohol. I don't even drink alcohol.
Got
but
it.
The
I see what
Corona,
you're saying.
every time I hear one now, I laugh.
Yeah.
Like Corona seltzer. Da-da-da-da-da. Have you not seen any of them? Or heard
I
any
don't
of them?
watch TV.
Yeah,
No,
good point. Yeah.
You don't watch TV?
No, I don't watch
He
TV.
doesn't even own a TV, do you?
No,
Jeff.
I have a projector.
Okay, I'm asking you a serious question. Have you ever had a drink of alcohol?
Not one. Not a drop, not a sip.
And so you don't drink alcohol, you don't watch TV.
Yeah.
Do you eat bacon?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Okay. You're part American.
So not only do I eat bacon, but I actually pass the meat aisle and go to the butcher shop inside of the grocery store and get butcher bacon.
Okay, so you make up for the non-Americanness of watching TV and drinking alcohol by getting true bacon.
Yeah, I get supreme bacon.
Okay.
Are there any other measures on my Americanness?
No, I don't think so.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as I'm hitting one box out of the three.
Yeah. My wife hates pizza and bacon. I didn't know this before we got married. If I had known that before we got married, I might not be married.
Yeah, a little dicey there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you like bacon breakfast pizza from Casey's?
Absolutely.
Now, hold on. Do you prefer that over the sausage bacon or the sausage pizza?
Depends on the day. I could do either one. Or I might just do a slice of each.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Gravy or no gravy?
No gravy.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't. Quick Trip makes theirs with gravy.
Yeah.
I think, or is it? I don't know.
Are we going by taste or
Kate-
After Effects? Because if we're going by taste, always gravy. If we're going by After Effects, no gravy.
Really?
No gravy. My day's done.
You know, do you have a dairy problem?
Do I?
Yeah, like does your stomach react to dairy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if I drink almond milk, I can drink a gallon of it. I'm good.
You're fine.
If I look at chocolate milk for too long in the grocery store, I shit my pants. But I still drink it. I still think it's delicious.
They make chocolate almond milk, bro.
And it's better.
Is it really?
yeah,
Way better.
I haven't tried the chocolate. I tried the
Yeah,
vanilla
it's
and
fine.
like the original.
Yeah.
And those are all good.
the chocolate's great.
Dude. Chocolate almond milk is it is the supreme leader
Do you
of milk products.
do you eat or what do you consume that is dairy?
I eat pizza sometimes. Cheese, yeah.
Cheese.
As far as like actual dairy product, it literally just cheese.
Why?
I think I'm pretty much in the same boat as
Yeah.
that.
Why?
It fucks me up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like milk, anything with milk in it, it's not a good deal for me. Butter's okay, but I prefer ghee butter, which is it's a not pasteurized. It's a processed butter that removes the lactose out of it. It's still butter. It's Indian, like Indian, GHEE, and it tastes delicious. They always put Himalayan pink salt in it, and it's great, like on a roll or something like that. Woo! Good stuff. Hey, you know who does woos like that a lot?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Yeah. Can I get 2 claps on a woo? Woo! Vince Monteleone.
He is and he's a vibes guy.
Vibes
Good
and woos. Yeah.
Vibes and woos.
Yeah.
Woos and vibes. In that sequence, or any type of sequence of those, a combination.
So Brent Rouse and I, like, we are in, you know how you and I shit talk each other?
Right.
It's on a different level with him. We cannot conversate at all.
It's just shit on each other.
Only, exclusively, yes. And we talk to each other like we're each other's possession, essentially. And it's hilarious because it's always like, you know, anything that is his is actually mine. You know, I'll be like how did we ride my Honda today? You know, what kind of lap times did we put up? I'm not happy with those. Those are rookie numbers. I need better numbers out of that. And just it's in both directions. Because Brent started it because his thing is he's Team Bolt manager, okay? And before it was Team Bubba Burger, Patchmaster Racing. And he's team manager, team rider, team agent. Like, he's the one going out there getting the deals. And then whenever you're around him, whenever you're in a van with him for 2 weeks at a time, he likes to talk in third person about himself. And he also likes to...
So he's ready to be mini dad.
No, he's ready to be Chip Ganassi.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys, CV4, the hose company?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who created CV4? You won't know this. Do you know who?
No, but I heard they just got purchased.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah. CV4 was started by Carl Vickers, Brian Vickers' dad.
Really?
Yeah. They were NASCAR. It was a NASCAR performance hose before it was dirt bikes, and then they found out nobody's making hoses for dirt bikes. So CV4 started out its own deal, and then CV4 bought out Cycra, not the other way around. I thought that Cycra bought out CV4, but it was the other way around. And then allegedly the people that were running the CV4 Cycra brand ran Cycra into the ground, essentially just through corporate mismanagement. And then Race Winning Brands, which owns Wiseco, Prox, not ProX, Prox, CP, K1, Recluse, I think that's all their brands, bought out CV4. I don't know what they're going to do with the plastic company, if anything at all. I don't know. They may just...
Maybe they'll bring back vented number plates.
Does UFO make Cypress stuff?
No. UFO produces majority of a Cherubies plastic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. A Cherubies has its own manufacturing plant, but for the most part, most of it is done by UFO.
It's kind of like Giant makes most bicycles. Like there's Specialized and whatever, but Giant makes like 90% of the bicycles that you buy, no matter where they are.
Polysport's all on their own, though.
Correct. Yeah.
They're like their own thing.
But what's funny is Polysport, UFO, and a Cherubies are all Italian companies. And those are the three names in motorcycle plastics.
Unless you want to get some plastic that almost fits but doesn't really fit, kind of the same color but not really the same color, you go to Meyer Plastic.
Meyer
USA.
Yeah.
Or you can pick up a Clark tank and the red's going to be way too dark.
Yes. Yep. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, the other combination brands, Nikon and...
Are you saying that Prox is how you say it, or are you saying it's two different companies?
No. Prox
is... It's not ProX?
No.
Why do I remember like seeing commercials that like they say ProX though?
It's an American thing. Here in America, we say ProX. But it's a European company. Prox is.
Is it really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
But Wiseco's is American.
Correct.
And Wiseco and Hot Cam are the same company.
No, sir. No. Hot Cams is owned by
Cylinderworks.
Cylinderworks, Wrench Rabbit, Vertex. What's their bearing company? All Balls. All Balls. Yeah, that's all.
I thought Wiseco was in that family. I guess I had the families mixed up.
No. It's easy to confuse because the Wiseco logo was that red bar, black bar, Wiseco logo in the middle, and there's a reason that they got away from that is because it was associated with those other brands. Yeah,
Different mafia.
Different,
mouthfeel.
yeah.
That's right.
Nikon is,
The triple clamp brand?
yes. If I remember correctly, Nikon manufactures majority of Renthal product.
Really?
And ProTaper is either...
See, I thought Tag made like everybody's stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's been a long time ago because Tag's not really a brand anymore. Like
you
it
can
used
still
to be.
buy
I know
Tag,
you can still
yeah.
buy it, but it's not as
Whatever
prominent as it was in 2001.
You guys remember Universal?
He still uses a Universal stand.
I have 2 Universal stands.
Really?
Let me tell you a fun story about Universal. Okay, in the...
I wish people could see Mike's face. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
we should just get a camera and just his face.
Just
He should
my
have
face,
his
though. A mic cam?
What would be better is if I attached a GoPro to the end of your mic.
Just looking at me the whole time.
That's worth a shot. So GoPro, if you're listening and need to sponsor a
Yeah.
chintzy
Yeah.
podcast.
I have a new Hero 8 Black that we could put on the end of that thing with Hypersmooth 2.0.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Universal here.
Okay.
What's the scoop?
Universal, as a motocross company, started in, I think, 2003.
Okay.
Universal was a wholly owned subsidiary of Snafu. Snafu was a bicycle peg and grind pegs. So like the platform pegs and grind pegs.
Yeah.
And then they also made the bar mounts and little other aluminum CNC machine parts. That was 100%, like 100% of their sales came from Dan's Comp, the old catalog. And CCS also, whenever CCS had bicycle stuff. So, whenever Snafu was popping, a couple of the guys rode motocross also, and then they started making triple clamps, clutch perches, hot starts, whenever you had a hot start, brake levers, bed racks,
Got one.
tie downs. They had a really cool catalog, and all their shit was very space age.
Their triple clamps came in like this tin box.
Yep.
That had like it was so sick. I saved that box.
You have the box?
Yeah,
I have
somewhere.
some of the 10s too.
Yeah.
And then did you ever get a koozie, a universal koozie? Or not koozie, a coaster?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you know how the top of the bike stand was with the hexagon cut out of the top of it?
Yeah.
So the koozie was the same thing as the top of the bike stand, but it said universal in the yellow, and then the inside of the hex was in yellow. Ooh. Got a couple of those at my dad's house. So then whenever e-commerce really became a big thing, Dan's Comp and CCS and the other, big bicycle companies transferred over to online sales. And for some reason, there was something about Snafu product that did not sell online. So Universal, even though Universal was perfectly fine and was actually making more money than its parent company Snafu, they got folded by the company and sold off, and they took all of the bike stands, literally every single bike stand that they had in stock, stripped the paint, painted them orange, put KTM stickers on them, and sold them to KTM en masse. And I think that they still use Universal bike stands.
Wow.
Yeah, but and I have one. I have one of the old orange KTM Universal stands. But Universal was perfectly fine, but because the company that owned them went belly up, they couldn't find a buyer and just let it fizzle away.
Did you know that the owner of amainhobbies.com, which is the biggest RC car online store, is big into cycling? So they have Amain Cycling, and they just bought Dan's Comp.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a power move right there.
Yeah.
Where's Amain based out of?
Chico, California.
Really?
Yes. Good story.
Chico.
You guys know whenever you're driving to, well, shit, you guys don't go the way that I go to Merwin, but have you ever heard of Harper Cycle Works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that guy? I can't remember the dude's first name.
Curtis?
No, that's Harper's Moto Guzzi.
Oh. Then maybe I'm thinking of someone. Then I don't know the place you're talking about.
He had a mechanic shop that mostly did like UTVs, ATVs, that kind of stuff on the north side of Merwin. So like where the 4-way stop is in Merwin, after you cross, like if you're leaving the track, cross the railroad tracks, and there's that 4-way stop there.
Okay.
If you would go left on D Highway, which is the
the way you go.
Yeah, I would go left and then take county roads all the way to my dad's house. About 2.5 miles north of there, before you get into Drexel, was Harbor Cycle Works. He started out doing, dirt bikes, that kind of stuff, and then UTVs really started popping. So he started. Listen to this. This guy started. He's like, I got to figure out a way. Bill Graham told me this. The guy said, I got to figure out a way to get out of mechanicking and just make more money. I want to stay in the industry, but I got to figure it out. So what he started doing was, whenever UTVs were first popping, okay, and then you'd have, ABC Billet out of North Carolina making this tiny little brake reservoir thing, and then you'd have, Billet America in Bend, Oregon doing something else, okay? The problem is that guy was up there, this guy's over here, and their market was this big because they were just selling locally. This guy, the Harper dude, what he did was he found every single UTV company in America that made any type of aftermarket product that was doing small sales, but had the capability of punching those numbers up really big, and then built sidebysidestuff.com.
Oh my gosh, I bought stuff from him and I didn't even know it was him.
Okay, so listen to this. What that guy did was 100% retail, e-commerce, never touched a single part. It was 100% drop ship. He had a UPS account or whatever, and then anytime that someone would buy something from him, okay, and what he would do is he would take inventory of all his suppliers, okay, and then instead of having a warehouse and housing it, and then having employees and that kind of shit, he had only customer service reps. So his whole shop that he had it converted to an office and just had in-house customer service reps and then sales guys, and then they would, place orders with this company, this company, this company, and it would be all automated online. He just sold the company after operating it for like 5 years to Smart Warehouse or USA Logistics or whatever it is for $30 million.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Sold the business. The business doesn't own anything other than its .com and its infrastructure with all the supplier manufacturers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bought a fire extinguisher mount from him.
No shit.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
But what brand was it? Do you remember?
Sidebysidestuff.com.
I don't remember. I just remember it was the only billet fire extinguisher mount that I could find, and you could get it in different colors.
Fuck yeah. Probably from, Rhino Parts USA or something. Yeah. So, Bill told me that he, was kind of helping this guy figure out what is it that you want to do. Yeah, you can only make $100 an hour working as a mechanic, and you have overhead, and you have, a material cost and that kind of stuff. And I get Bill told me he gave him a book, and I can't remember what it was. I launched I said fuck it and abandoned FedEx because of a book that I read.
Okay, we're going there. Why did you quit FedEx?
Well,
I wish you would rephrase the question like you did. Or
what is your life like without FedEx?
Amazing. I'm happy.
So your trip to Cuba, no, was it Cuba?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Had nothing to do with leaving FedEx.
No.
I thought you just saw
that was just timing.
I thought you just saw the life in Costa Rica.
The Ryan Hughes type of life, and then decided that I'm out.
No, I
read
had
a damn book.
About 3 weeks before Costa Rica, I was like, I think I'm ready to do this. I think I'm ready to leave. And then the day before I left for Costa Rica, I told my manager, whenever I get back, I'm 90% sure that I'm going to give you my 2 weeks. And then whenever I was out riding with my dad, adventure bikes, got a lot of time to think to myself, and it was an easy decision. Never once was I was like, man, I don't want to do this, And then we got home. I turned in my 2 weeks. 4 days later, the World Health Organization declares coronavirus is a world pandemic. And I'm like, fuck.
Oh,
Yeah. And
Remember that 90% I was talking about? Well, the 10% is now coming back.
Right.
And I'm going to need that job back.
and I mean, that's the thing is like I could have reneged on my 2 weeks, my resignation and stayed. But with that being said, I knew so whenever I first started Rippinruts, I was about 8 months into it. I was considering leaving FedEx. Like I was right there. And I was just like, nah, dude, no, like, what happens if the economy crashes or what happens if, this, and then all those what ifs started coming. And I was like, I just need to fucking pump the brakes on this, do it part-time, just give myself creative freedom. And then, just have fun with it, instead of it being like this big money-making venture. And then things at FedEx kept souring. Dude, I have to fucking pee so bad. Hold on, I didn't push pause. There we go. God damn it. Stop. Do you want me to go into full detail over this? Like, do you want to hear the A to Z over what happened, or do you just want to skip the details?
he forgot what you're talking about.
I'm talking about leaving FedEx. I
Yeah.
pushed record.
And how sour it was.
Yeah. All right. So it was essentially a 3-tier problem. Number one, my district manager came in and told us about a bunch of changes that were getting ready to happen with the company. And he verbatim said in our meeting, after not introducing himself, because he just, he's our district manager, so he assumes that everybody knows who he is, which that pissed me off to no end. He said, "You're on the tracks. Either get on the," what did he say? "Either get on the train or be railroaded." I'm like, okay, well, that's nice. Now, that's after they said that, or I'm not said, but we found out the pension plan was being eliminated. Okay. The whole reason that I went to FedEx Express was over the pension, because I was making more money at Ground. Yes, I had to pay for my own health insurance. Yes, there was no 401k. I went to FedEx Express to get the pension and the 401k. They eliminated the pension because they were going to, for guys like me, they were going to roll it into the 401k. They said, they claim, of course, that for guys that had been with the company for less than 12 years, it was in your best interest to roll the pension, the money that you've accrued, into your 401k, and at the end of your retirement, it will be worth more. Now, the only problem with that is a 401k has market volatility. A pension does not. Pensions are funded by the company. 401ks are invested by, the firm that's handling the money. So it's subject to market fluctuation. So that's like whenever my dad, was with Power and Light at, and his 401k, dude, I think his 401k dropped to like $500,000.
A bunch. I mean, just like when Corona hit, my dad said, he's like, yeah, I've already, like in the first 2 weeks of the Corona deal, like I've already lost 100,000 in my 401k. Or whatever. And there's a bunch of people that did. Yeah. And I'm sure mine did or yours did or whatever, but that's so far away, I didn't even look at it.
Right. I got the report. Mine dropped 10 grand. Just like that. And so I'm like, I don't want all of my eggs in that one basket.
You want to diversify your portfolio.
I wanted to, yes. But thank you. Yeah. Genius. This man over here.
Innovative is what he is.
He's an innovative man. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You have to roll that back over 3 years. This is right after Trump got elected. And then he initiated that corporate tax cut, that everybody saw a bunch of money back, on there. So FedEx saved, it was like $2.3 billion with a B, $1 billion on their tax sheet, whatever, however you want to say it, just like that. Instantaneously.
So did you have a 401k and a pension?
Yes, sir, I did.
Yeah, okay.
Because
some of the, like Local 2 or whatever, some of the unions have that. Like,
yeah.
I just have a 401k, but obviously I'm not in a trade or anything. But I didn't know if you guys had both.
I went there because of the pension, because of the allure of the pension. I wanted a pension. Because the pension deal was 75% of your top 5 earning years average. So let's say at the end of my time at FedEx, where I would be topped out and I worked Saturday, every other Saturday for 5 years straight, then I would have easily made $100,000 in a year. So they take your 75% of those top 5 earning years, and then they pay you that from the time that you retire until the day that you die. So I would get paid $75,000 a year to do nothing.
Right. And then your other half gets a certain percentage of your pension from then on out. That's usually. That's
and that's not even my 401k. We haven't even touched my 401k.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted that. Whenever we got the big corporate tax relief program, FedEx saved over $2 billion and put $1.5 billion in the pension plan. What they did not disclose to us is that executives with the company also have a pension. Okay. Now they took all that money, put it in, then like 10 of our top dudes, all the VPs, all the executives systematically left the company. And whenever they did, they pulled gigantic amounts out of what the pension was worth. And then 2 years later, they tell us, by the way, the pension's being eliminated. So but the thing is they put up these giant posters in every station, mailed stuff to us about how well the pension fund was doing. Okay. And then poof, whenever all the execs leave. And by the way, you little peon, which they never said. There was no option. There was no alternative. There was no questionnaire. There was no, canvassing, nothing. It was, we're going to decide what's best for you, and you need to get off of the tracks or be railroaded. And so just like that, plus, just in station management problems, whatever.
You sound like a Supercross rider talking about Feld.
I am. So, I got over it, and I was like, dude, you know what? I can either work for the man or be the man. I would much rather be the man. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to have to leave. And then, like I said, 4 days before I left, it's global pandemic time. And then I thought, okay, what are the type of people that buy motocross graphics? Motocross racers. What do most motocross racers do? They work construction, utility, infrastructure, some guys in sales, but not many. Most of them are blue collar workers that are, and this is like right whenever they start talking about we're going to shut things down, there's essential businesses and stuff. And I'm looking at all these. And I'm like, these are all jobs that motocross racers hold. So I'm not worried about it. And I figured if I can maintain my business through a recession, I'll be fine. So I said, fuck it. Why not take the ultimate test, leave work now, see if I can make it through a recession. And then
what's the worst? You go back to FedEx, or whatever.
Exactly. No. And I bumped into my old contractor whenever I was at ground, and I told him about how I was getting ready to leave. And he said, if for any reason it doesn't work out or you want to come back part-time, so you can still run your business, just let me know. I'll put you in a truck the next day.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I've developed a welder has his skilled trade of, crafting welds. For me, I have the skilled trade of delivering packages. Any idiot can do it, but, I can do it. I can get in any truck, in any route, in any area, at any building. And,
any idiot can ride a dirt bike. Doesn't mean he's good at riding a dirt bike.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's what book did you read?
Oh, The E-Myth.
The E-Myth.
Have you
never even heard of it? Actually,
okay.
No. I would. Now I'm interested.
So the book was written in the late 90s, pre-e-commerce. Which, whenever I first started reading it, I'm like, how can I read a book that is about the E-Myth pre-e-commerce? Well, the E-Myth is not. The E is not electronic. The E is entrepreneurial, and the entire book is around the concept over. To be an entrepreneur has nothing to do with sustainability, working for yourself. Yes, entrepreneurs are the most likely to launch businesses and sell them to other companies, but that does not make them good business managers. So this book broke down, whenever you work for yourself and you own your own company, you have to wear 3 hats at all times. And all 3 of those hats are pissed off at the other 2 hats permanently. Okay, so number 1, you have the entrepreneur, the person that dreams up the ideas. Okay, I want to do this, I want to serve this purpose and fulfill this part of the market need, and we're going to do it with this innovative way. And then right behind him is the person that actually does the job, okay, which is the engineer or the technician. We'll call him the technician. So the technician is the person that's out in the field doing the work, actually fulfilling the job itself. So the entrepreneur is creating the opportunity for work. The technician is fulfilling the work. Well, that's only 2 of the 3 hats. The third hat is the business manager. And the business manager is like the angry dad at all times. The one that
Who left the lights on?
Yes.
In or out? Shut the door.
No, precisely. That's the perfect example, because the business manager is the one that's writing the checks, okay? That's doing the books, that's answering the calls, that kind of shit. So the business manager has to put the technician in the jobs, okay? But the business itself, or the way that the business is being marketed, is done by the entrepreneur. And one cannot operate without the other, but at the same time, they are always at war with each other, because the entrepreneurs all come in, we got to do this. We got to do this. This is a new idea. Let's keep renewing the wheel. We're going to figure out a new way to do this. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. Meanwhile, the technician just wants to go out, do the job, get it done. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want anybody telling him what to do. And see, like, the number one person that starts their own business is a technician. And typically they're fucking terrible at business. Think of like the average guy that works for himself is probably a plumber or electrician. Those are probably the 2 number 1 DIY sole proprietor businesses in America. Most of them, they just barely get by, job to job to job to job. They're not, Bob Hamilton Heating and Cooling. I mean, that's a major...
With 100 different trucks or
Exactly.
a worldwide business.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. No, it's just the average, like Bob Richter. Okay. And
remodel, and then go on to the next remodel. And then
exactly.
Go to the next remodel.
Yep. Yeah. Now, Bob does it really well, and he's very level, but most guys are just barely getting by job to job. And the reason is they don't want people to tell them what to do. That's why most technicians work for themselves. Business managers typically work for a business, but you have to be able to do all 3, and all 3 do not want to listen to each other. All 3 think that they know what's best for the company, and all 3 are constantly just pissed off at the other one. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to do it. This is what we have to do. No, I'm not going to pay for that.
The entire time you've been talking, I've just been running through every single scenario of running Innovative MX.
Yeah.
The entire, yep. Like every part of this is 100% accurate, and you have to operate that way, or it doesn't operate.
100%. Yeah, and Mike, you know this. You've been in business for yourself for 15 years.
I was thinking that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, it's like
which hat do you wear the most? If you had to pick one of those 3 people, which are you the most?
The business manager.
Which are you?
You're the technician.
The technician is the biggest part of it, but I can't be the technician without doing the entrepreneurial side, and then the business manager side is just, it happens in the dark when nobody's paying attention. Like that part happens off.
Yeah, no, and see, usually the business manager is the last one to leave too.
Yeah. But I would be the technician more than anything, but I have found my niche in the marketing world to make the technician part even happen. So
yeah, that's the thing, is if the entrepreneur is not creating the vision for the company, the technician has no jobs to do. Okay, but at the same time, the business manager is the one that's booking the jobs for the technician to go to, because the technician doesn't want to do anything other than the thing itself. So in Scott's, for Scott, the coaching, the business, and see the thing. Okay, and now here's the other thing that this book really emphasizes. it is not the thing that you sell or the job that you do. What is for sale is the business itself, not what the business sells. Because the thing is how many motocross coaches are there? How many sticker printers are there? How many coffee companies are there? Umpteen-illion, okay? But the business of how it conducts itself as the entity selling that is what's for sale, not the actual commodity itself. So that's another thing that this book really drives home. The third thing that it drives home is work on your business, not in your business. They're two very different things.
And they happen at different times.
They do, yeah. Because, yes, you do have to do the function of the business itself whenever you're a sole proprietor, but you also have to work on the business to make it a well-oiled money-making machine. Because if any one, I mean, it's a house of cards. You take one single card out, and then the slightest gust of breeze, and the whole thing comes falling down. So you have to have a very rigid baseline of the company itself. And what he likes to use, this guy that wrote this book, he likes to use the franchise model. Every business should be built as if it was a franchise of 10 plus operations, because then you have standardized operations from start to finish. And I've taken that with my business. I have an extremely rigid standardized operation. Whenever I go into my office, it's not, well, let's just see what, the cat drug in today, and I'm going to fuck off on Instagram and send some messages, this or that. I have a very specific, I go in, I get on Facebook Messenger, and I look at the people that have messaged Rippinruts on Facebook. And then I go in and I look at my Wix.com, which is who hosts Gimmick, and then I look at any orders that have been placed. Then I look at my big cartel order, same thing. I see what orders are being placed. I see what the analytics are, who's doing what, when. Then, after doing all the administrative stuff, which usually that's like the least fun part. If I don't do that, I can't do anything else. So I'll focus.
But as a business owner, you also want to know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I do that for an hour, and I do that while I drink my coffee, because it's something I can do with just my hand on the trackpad, and I have my coffee in my left hand. I can kind of kick back and take in, okay, I need to do this. And then I have my little notepad and I have a pen, and every single day I write down all the jobs that I have to do.
To-do list.
And it's, yes. And it's not just like, Braden Brunk ordered a kit, and it's not Scott Gebkin needs fender stickers. It's not that. It's every fucking task, not just jobs, but tasks.
How it's the job, and then what it takes to get that job done, and then a job, and then how to get what it takes.
Exactly.
To get
So I have a job and I have a task list all in one, and those tasks sometimes are as simple as count inventory. Count Gimmick inventory. Because the thing is, I have 4 brands to manage. Okay. So like, if I don't write it down, plus the YouTube channel, which is essentially its own 5th fucking business. But I have to write all of it down, because if I forget one single thing, then I'm fucking the image of my business.
See, I do the same thing at AT. Like even in not the business that I run, but I kind of run in a different way. It's to-do list. I cannot operate without putting it in a to-do list or a schedule.
Do you type it or write it?
I write most of it almost, because that's how even in college, that's how I studied for stuff, is I would take an outline and I would just rewrite it. And that's how I take in the information.
So
go on.
I type a project list.
Yeah.
But then each day I have to write the exact same project list of the ones that I want to finish before that day's over. Mm-hmm. Because if I just do the typed one, I can't do it. I have to write out the ones I'm going to do.
Well, because then you go and mark it off like, okay, next
as opposed to going on the backspace, it's doing that line through it of job completed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. From initiation to, payment collection to, proofing to sending it off to the print shop. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or I guess initiation, which would be a lead. I'll tell you who taught me that. Jeff Stanfield. Because anytime that I would go into his office and Jeff fielded a call, it's so funny because he was like, the manager of Freedom Cycles for so long. He would still just pick up the phone and, thank you for calling Freedom Cycles. This is Jeff. How may I help you? Like, They weren't his calls, and he's the top dog. And then as the customer is speaking, it doesn't matter if it is a guy that is looking for a set of grips for a 99 KX125. Jeff will write out, like as the guy's saying it, he's saying, KX125 grips. Okay, let me connect you with our parts department. Stand by one moment. If you knew, you would never know that he's the guy that owns the business. And then Jeff would, forward them to parts. Okay, parts line 3, and then hang up. And then he'd sit there and watch the blinker on the light. And if it didn't get picked up within 10 to 15 seconds, he would call down to the parts department until somebody picked up and say, you have a customer, and then patch him in. And then as soon as he did that, he would underline it, not write through it, and then follow up 10 minutes later. He'd call down to the parts and be like, hey, did you get that guy taken care of? Okay, perfect. Straight through. And I asked Jeff, I'm like, why do you, I was like, why do you do that? And he's like, I have to know what's going on in my business.
And you have to. Yep. Because I get the same way, because follow-up is so important. If you're not following up, shit is not happening. Shit is not happening the way it's supposed to happen. Especially when you have multiple employees or divisions or whatever it is that you're managing. If it's not getting followed up, it's not fucking happening.
It's funny that you say that, because the number one phrase that is written down on my task list is follow-up. Like, I mean, it doesn't, and
you clearly aren't doing it because you didn't email me back the other day.
Selective follow-up.
I'll flip back. I'll even flip back a couple pages and make sure, and then I'll follow up with people 10 days after their sticker kit arrived. I'd be like, hey, did it trim right? Did it apply right? How did it come packaged?
The guy that hates customer service is just all in the customer service. Look at him go.
I feel like when he gets customer service, his voice changes and everything. Hello, hi, this is Jeffrey from Rippinruts. I was just calling to follow up on that order.
Well, now hold on. Now here's the thing. I do not conduct business over the phone.
That's probably good.
100, yeah, because I'm an asshole. And the thing is, what I don't want to do is I don't want to talk to a customer and them tell me, yeah, dude, I want a KLX 110 kit, and I want it to be pink, white, gray, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, whatever, fuck off. Like, I can't pay attention to somebody whenever they're talking because there's so many details that go into a sticker kit, something like that. So I express, as soon as somebody drops their phone number and, hey, can you give me a call about this? I just tell them straight up. And if I lose the customer because of it, so be it. If they say, I need you to call me so we can discuss this, I'm sorry, I do not conduct business over the phone, because if we do, it is a guarantee that I will forget something, miss a detail, screw it up, send it to the wrong place. I like to have everything collected, corrugated, or whatever the word is, and compacted into an email thread. So then that way, like this kid from Jefferson City that I've been dealing with, that I did 3 pit bike kits for him, it took us 38 exchanges before the job was done. Now imagine, and he was one of those guys that wanted to talk on the phone. I can do 38 emails. I can't do 38 phone calls.
Yeah.
So that's, and there's, well, and that's the way so much business is done now. It depends on the industry, obviously, but that's the way our generation, or especially even anyone younger than us, even more so, that's how they communicate. This may be a Gary V thing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I like him.
So I believe it was him that said, if a meeting can be done with a phone call, do it over a phone call. If a phone call can be done over an email, do it over an email.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's Gary V, but yeah, that's probably one of the things that he says. And it's pretty true. I think it just depends on what it is. It all depends on your situation and what needs to be discussed.
Because most meetings are a fuck all, where it's like you get around and then you have the social aspect of it and you bullshit, and then finally
waste of time.
Let's get down to business. And then it travels off and you got a guy with a question that, just because you're all friends, you're all buddies, you're coworkers. Yeah, what are you going to do about the rats in the building? That kind of type of person. That's a true story. You'll really like this.
Oh, great. Here we go.
You have rats in your home?
No. Whenever Kansas City Power and Light bought out Aquia, which was Warrensburg, Sedalia,
Sibley, a bunch of different places.
So whenever they bought out Aquia, they had the main show up in Warrensburg. And my dad was part of the transition period of, Kansas City Power and Light going out there and saying, these are our standard operations. This is how we're going to do things. And this is like on not just a company level, but like this is how you're going about doing your job to the linemen, to the guys that, are doing repairs, to the substation maintenance guys. You have to
SOP.
Standard operating procedure. You have to do these, you have to fill out this job ticket. You have to hang this tag. You have to do this, this, and this. This is where you keep it inside of your truck, blah, 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 that kind of shit. And they had a bunch of office people. And it was everybody in the building. And my dad's leading the meeting about it. And then there's a woman that's in the office. Okay. And now the thing about she was a Power and Light representative. Okay. The Aquia, it was like not everybody that did manual labor for them was in the bargaining unit. Only some were. So like the linemen were, the substation workers weren't. Something like that. And
you have management, and then at Power and Light, it breaks down like you have T&D, which is transmission and distribution, which means, and then you have generation, which is the powerhouse, and everything outside of the powerhouse is T&D, and so you have all this, and then you have service, then you have linemen. It's all different branches.
Okay, so there was at Aquia, there was something, or they were having a contractor who knows, because they even brought the contractors in and said, hey, whenever you're working on our shit, this is how you have to do it. One of the guys stood up, and the ladies asked, saying, are there any questions? And this lady's, in a suit. Okay. She's an executive at Power and Light. She doesn't know bargaining unit lingo. This guy stands up and he says, Joe Bates, blah, blah, blah. I'm in this division. My question for you is, what are you going to do about all the rats in the building? And the lady is just like, she's like, you have rats in the building? And he says, yeah, I can see 3 or 4 of them right now. And my dad is just like, oh my God. And he was talking about the non-union employees that worked for the company, which included the people in the front office. There was a big division. That was one of the big struggles about acquiring Aquia was everybody's going union, dispatchers, office personnel, whatever. This is just how it's going to be. So that's a story.
That's a story.
That is a
story time with Jeff. You need your own little intro for that. Like with the Reading Rainbow.
Oh, Reading Rainbow. Remember, you don't have to take my word for it. Remember you'd say that at the end? No? Okay.
No, I don't remember that either, actually.
I haven't heard the words Reading Rainbow in a long time.
The only reason I think it came to me was because they were talking about him on the news the other day because of this Corona deal. It was Reading Rainbow reading hour or something for all these kids that were at home. Like somebody was doing a special on TV or online or something for all these kids that are not in school right now. I can't even think what the guy's name was.
Reading Rainbow was on KCPT, right?
Yeah.
Or was that part of a show?
No, it was a show.
It was
Reading
a show.
Rainbow was its own show.
Yeah.
We should play the theme song or something.
If I brought my phone and my aux cord in, we could
play a whole episode.
We could do a whole episode. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to what is now known as the RGMO group, Rippinruts, Gimmick, Muff, OTB.
I just have one brand. I feel like, I guess 1.5 brands.
Yeah.
I guess you could
Rigamo.
say.
RGMO. Oh, I didn't show you. I sent it to Scott. I ripped off the old KCP TV logo, which was, Kansas City Public Television, which I don't know if you remember it. By chance.
Like PBS.
No, not the PBS logo, but the KCPT, Channel 19 specifically.
Okay.
It had like the green K and then the red T and then the checkmark V.
Yeah.
So whenever I did the RGMO group, because I have to have on all my invoicing that I use, which because I do invoicing for all 4 companies, instead of switching back and forth from Gimmick to OTB to Rippinruts and, back and forth, instead I just made one. And then anytime that somebody pays an invoice to me, it's RGMO Group, not Rippinruts, DBA, whatever.
Yeah.
So I made the logo for it, and as I was assembling, I was like, wow, this looks like the old KCP TV logo. And I sent it to Scott, and he's like, yeah, that's it.
I liked your Rippinruts logo.
The new one?
The InStyles.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Parker Berg I did a sticker kit for him.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a photo of his new stickers, and his toolbox was down sitting on the whatever in his garage. And him and I both have the exact same green and blue InStyle stickers on our toolboxes from 10 years ago, or
right.
However we got those InStyle stickers. And I was like,
when you had to buy the package of individual numbers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, why have I never remade the InStyle logo? So I remade it.
I liked it.
Thank you. I'll show it to you later.
Sweet. Well, are we still talking about logos?
I don't know. Why do we talk about anything on here?
Can I talk about Hot Topics?
Let me patch it in.
Only on Over the Bars podcast will you find hot topics ranging from motocross to remote control cars. This is Hot Topics. Hot Topics are presented to you by our Patreon subscribers. Go to patreon.com/overthebars to pledge today. Donnells Motorcycles, 816-478-9393. Bar to Bar MX, ride on. Straight from the deep mind of Mike Garrison to the notepad. This is Hot Topics only on Over the Bars.
Pit bikes.
What'd you say?
Pit bikes.
I love pit bikes.
I think they're making a comeback.
It seems to be that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It seems to be that.
I've had more people message me and ask me if I have any pit bikes I would be willing to sell.
Really?
Within the past couple months.
Do you have any?
No, I
Oh.
don't. But you were talking about pit bikes. You did 3 pit bike kits for a
Yeah.
guy, and that made me think this is an added hot topic.
Okay, so it's funny that you say that because Brandon Rowland told me that Bike Graphics has been lighting up the printers with pit bike kits.
Well, I wonder how much of it has to do with Buttery and those guys.
Yeah.
Like riding pit bikes. And, dude, he just went on Barstool Sports. They had him on Barstool
No
Sports.
shit.
For blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
wherever he was on, for riding in the skate park after they filled it full of sand.
Oh, yeah.
In L.A.
That
Out in
was Buttery
Venice.
that
That
did
was
that?
Buttery and all those guys, Axel or whoever it is that those guys ride together. Whoever is in that group.
I didn't know that was who that was.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's like if there's a wave coming from California and everybody wants to be like that. I have crashed them way too fucking much to want to really get back on pit bikes, but I think I've got 3 of them sitting in my dad's basement right now, and one of the 3 runs. Like
You
we could
have
go
3
get it.
pit bikes?
Well, they're Nick's. 2 are Nick's and
Got
2
it.
are. Or, so I have 4. 2 are Nick's and 2 are mine, but I think 1 runs.
What 2 do you have?
I think I have a 50 and the 70. The 7 we still have the 70, but I don't think it runs. And
You
then there's
still
2
have a
110s.
50?
I don't know. I think
You had like 4 of them
I
at
had
one
4
time.
of them at one time. I don't know. There's some. It's in my dad's
Why
storeroom
did you
in the
have
basement.
4?
I don't know.
He bought
It
them
was
as a
really-
package.
I bought them as a deal. I bought 2 separate packages of 50s. It was
awesome.
It was 450. It was a fucking blast. But I crashed one off the smallest jump you could ever crash on, and had to go to the emergency room. and
Lower
that-
back contusion.
Yeah, I thought I broke my back. Like it was bad.
Yeah, no, we had to cart him in.
Yeah, like
How'd this
carried me
happen?
up
Well,
and out
I
of
was
the
riding
trails.
as a real little mini cycle.
Well, luckily, thank God I put on a fucking helmet. Like 2 jumps before this, we didn't even have helmets on. And I crashed off into the weeds.
Is that a hot topic? Just pit bikes in general?
Yeah, I was just
Okay,
curious
yeah.
if you guys had thought of that.
Dude, I have been thinking
noticed it.
I would love to ride a pit bike.
You remember Langtown?
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool stuff.
When they were taking like XR100 motors, putting them in CR80 chassis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bart has one still, I think.
Yeah, he
Does
made
he
one.
have
Bart
one?
has one. Or
Yeah.
he had one. It was
He
a
made one.
CR80 that they put a
Yeah.
150 in or whatever.
Did he build the one that Stolfus had?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was like a twin pair or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you can still find YouTube videos of Langtown.
That was what inspired my little backyard track that I had in the wood chips. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
that's
what
what
inspired.
has gotten Carson Brown to become a
Yeah.
Supercross
Yeah.
pro. I mean, all this stuff. I didn't know people still built pit bikes like that.
Yeah.
Or Guy Cooper. Remember? Did you ever go down and
Extreme,
race in the bar?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever race
I
through the
did that,
bar?
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that was wild. That was a wild time.
Hey, if I could just. As you were saying.
Perfect. Jimmy Albertson's having a baby.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Congratulations, Jimmy.
Congratulations.
I did
Jimmy.
not see Jimmy as a settle down kind of guy.
I think Jimmy's wanted to have kids for a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
A little Ronnie.
Dude, what if he literally names his kid Ron?
I was just thinking that. That'd be
I think
amazing.
he should.
Huh. Okay. This is my final, since we've covered already several of them. Did you guys hear about the shutdown out in California? The SoCal thing,
Yeah.
where the tracks got shut down?
Yeah.
Because supposedly Myron, is it short of 2X?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. A bunch of the tracks got
But-
shut down.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a couple that were still staying open.
Paris and Glen Helen, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And someone called the cops or whatever
Yeah.
and reported them, got them shut down. Supposedly it was the Myron Short of 2X that puts on Mammoth Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
This is
Okay.
news to me. I haven't.
Oh, you
seen
haven't heard this?
I
Yeah.
know this is,
Okay.
but I'm ready to hear it.
So like Motocross Action posted it up, Swap Moto posted it up, this letter from all the tracks. These tracks sent out a letter basically saying, hey, we're closing because somebody, and then in the comments, people were calling out who it was. Anyway, they took it down because he was getting death threats for closing down, like for calling and having motocross tracks closed down.
I can believe that. This is
Good.
Is it?
No, that's terrible. I shouldn't say that. That's really bad.
It's 2020. This is what happens, dude. I mean, the guy got doxxed. Prepare to if you're going to do something fucking stupid, prepare for the repercussions to be death threats. Like, that's
Wasn't
just
that
where
crazy?
it goes.
That's pretty wild. But it's
Yeah.
so easy for somebody to just on the keyboard.
Nobody means it.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Wow.
So, but I wondered why, like, they took it down, because I enjoyed reading the comments.
Yeah.
It was like it was like grab your popcorn type thing. And I went on Motocross Action, it was gone. And then I went on Swap Moto and it was gone. And then I kept going on Vital and somebody would make a thread and then it was gone.
Oh, no shit.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Like, this is weird.
Some cover up shit. going
Yeah.
on there.
So then, like, I like stumbled across little bits on Facebook, and then I don't know, I didn't follow up to see if they were. But
yeah, because a bunch of tracks actually reopened yesterday
Yeah.
or something, I
Yeah.
think. I don't know.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, Bar to Bar has a 50 rider or 50 persons ride tomorrow, where it's 25 in the morning, 25 in the evening.
Do you think if tracks, after all this is done and over with, if tracks limited their practices to like pre-registered, prepaid, whatever, say 50 guys, 100 guys at a time, would they do better than just having a prep practice on a Wednesday?
Like a tea time,
Yeah.
Maybe.
perhaps.
In the RC car world, I noticed that races that don't have an entry cap, like if I've put on a race before and I don't have an entry limit, they'll say get 150 or something like that, pre-entries. But if you say it's limited to 150 entries, bam, it is full. You're guaranteed 150 entries.
Perhaps there's something about, I don't know, dude, that's a marketing thing right there, is figuring out what drives more people to the races.
And it depends on where you're at and what your product is, I think.
Like
is
if a
big part of
Missouri
that.
State race, if they said you have to pre-enter, pay, and sign up online, first come, first serve, there's only 150 people that are elite enough to sign up online and get in. If you miss the deadline, you're out. Do you think they'd sell out every time? Let's say 250.
For a Missouri State race,
I mean,
it's unnecessary in the first place to
Yeah,
do that.
sure.
But since we're just going down that road, if anything, I think it might help to an extent, because it modernizes one of the worst parts about going to a motocross race. Sign up.
Yes. Also, it also allows you to The problem with like RC races is there's a site that you can sign up, but you don't have to pay. And so people will just sign up just to get in, but then they never show up. Right. So it really doesn't help that much. But if you have everybody prepay and everybody's in, you could have race order already set up.
Yeah.
You know how long the day is going to be, because if on the cutoff day, if there's only 100 people signed up, there's only 100 racers.
So that's the argument for why Feld and MX Sports charge an entry fee. Because if there wasn't one, okay, everybody was like, it's so fucking stupid that we make these guys pay to race. Well, if there was no payment, then literally every Tom, Dick, and Harry with their pro license, which there's 900 people, that have one, would just throw their name in the hat, and then it would clog it up really bad. Then you'd have 6 practice sessions per class.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. No, you have to have it. What it does is it weeds out the people that aren't serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't have to pay, fucking yeah, I'll throw my name. I'll see if I can get there.
But if I don't, it doesn't matter.
But if I don't, then I have nothing invested in it.
What is entry for an outdoor?
$250.
What's entry for a Supercross?
Same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But I feel like for most people with the pro license, if you're really interested, the experience of it at least once is worth the $250.
Absolutely.
Am I correct?
100%.
Maybe not following the whole thing. Maybe not doing it 20 times.
I think the more you do it, the better. Like the better the experience. In my opinion, the better the experience is. But like mine got cut short, so I didn't like. I feel like I never really got a good stab at any of it. But that's just me.
The thing about doing outdoor nationals in specific, because I haven't done Supercross, so I can't speak on that behalf. But the thing about doing outdoor nationals is like we're so conditioned to. You show up to the track at 7:30, you go up to sign up, you enter, you put your gear on, the first bikes go out on the track, you wait until the 250 practice, or, for me, that's how I do it. I go out, I ride 4 laps, come back, sit around, wait for moto order. It's very, we'll get there. The day might be 8 hours. I might be first and 19th moto. I'll find out. There's something about it where like when you don't know what the program is that makes it, a lot more relaxed. But with an outdoor national, number one, you're on their time. And if you don't make it up to the starting gate by X time, sorry, Jack.
Sucks to be you. Yep. And they are not fucking around.
They don't care about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's your fault that you weren't here. No excuses. We don't have time for your bullshit. So there's an added level of stress just right there. Plus, not to mention, the first lap that you go out on that track, Scott and I were just talking about this the other day about going to Muddy Creek in
Tennessee.
18. Yeah, in 18. Whenever I rode the first lap, and I think I've said this before, but I was like, what have I gotten myself into?
Was it the track that made you think that, or who you were riding with?
The track. Now, number one, it also rained every bit of 3/4 of an inch that morning.
If not more, dude.
If not more. And it was just these waves of like water. It was like mist just came into the air. Now, mind you, it's a sawdust track, so it could take it. But
it made it like mush.
Right.
It was weird.
It was like riding an oatmeal. Okay. So anybody that's ever been there or watched the races on TV, there's the one really long straightaway on top of the ridge, okay, where it's like a tabletop, and you can go tabletop and jump on to the next one. Nobody did it that year because it was too muddy, too ruddy. But that was like the bit, this super gnarly section, and that's where all the bleachers are at, and that overlooks. Okay. And then on amateur day, or the amateurs, what you do is you do that last tabletop, sachet right, and then go left down where Scott hurt himself. For us, it was as soon as you landed off that last tabletop, sharp left, drop off into a hill that's like screw you at Unadilla, or yeah. Okay, or the horseshoe at Unadilla, and you go down, and just the whole time you're in ruts that are peg deep.
And there's rollers as taller than this table right in the middle of it too.
Yeah, and this is the first lap. Okay, and the ruts are already this deep, and you're like, and the bars are fucking twitching around, and the back end hops out of a rut, and then at the very bottom, they cut in a drainage rut to get all the water that was standing there. They literally just took the dozer. You know how, like, if you're in the dozer, you're sitting in front of it. You can yaw the blade. They yawed the blade all the way in, dropped it, drug it back 25 feet across the track, and literally created a V that was 2 foot deep.
I remember hitting it like, what the fuck is this?
Prepped. Yeah. Prepped. Okay. That's how that is part of the track now. I'm coming down the hill and I'm braking and I'm sliding. I'm under control. I hit that thing and racked my nuts on the gas cap so hard and like went boom, instantly stopped and just dumped the clutch and the throttle, and the bike's standing up completely straight. And I go back up the hill and it's like ice. Okay. And as I'm going up the hill, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Why did you do this? You should not be out here. It's just what I'm thinking. I made a couple more laps and it was fine. But just that first time down that hill and hitting that section, this is stupid. I was so mad at myself for like 2 laps over that one tiny little section.
Oh, and on top of that, when the throttle's twisted, it's as fast as it'll go.
Yeah.
Like in between all of your fuck ups, you're as fast as it'll go. Like you see a straightaway, it's as fast as it goes.
Yep. And by the way, there's 39 other guys out there that, okay, you know how like whenever you raced and you'd line up with Derek Tuning, Brandon Stansberry, Sheldon Berg, all those guys. Yeah. All right. They're your friends.
Yeah.
Every other one of those dudes out there is your mortal sworn enemy.
Like when you line up at a local race, you know how those guys ride.
Yeah.
You know them off the track, so you're going to ride semi-friendly together.
Whenever you have Bobby Piazza, Chance Blackburn, Devin Harriman, and, Brendan Gergerich, and like all these guys, it's like, you all look the same. You're all riding Hondas and Yamahas, and you're wearing all black gear, and I don't fucking know who you are, and I don't know what you're like. Or do you ride like
Stranger danger? Stranger danger.
Do you ride like Brian Stone, and you're not going to do anything that is going to confuse me, or are you a gigantic liability like Dustin Curley? You don't know. Okay.
You don't. And it's a mystery. And you don't really know who any of them are. Like, hey, you were on Cycle Dump's Instagram. And then you're on, and then
you're running into them third gear wide open. And by the way, every single motherfucker out there on a 450 has the MX-11, 12, whatever it is, paddle tire. Okay, sand spec paddle tire should be illegal, and the Roost dude is just going like in these fucking 6-inch wide chunks of just like this, dude.
And you're 4 minutes into riding. Like your heart rate's, it's up because it's up because not because you're like sweaty or like started working out. It's because your anxiety level, you're about to have a fucking cardiac arrest moment right then and there because you're just trying to figure it out.
So the $250 is worth it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like going to Disneyland, Okay. It's not fun until you've left.
Okay.
and we come and talk about it on a podcast.
So, but the thing is, the first time that you go out and do that, Scott, your first one was Mount Morris, right?
No, Colorado.
You went to Colorado.
Okay. Mount Morris, right. Muddy Creek.
Okay. And so, like, by Muddy Creek, it was a lot easier than the first time.
Yeah.
And usually the second one is the hardest because you do the first one and you kind of go in, arms wide open. I'm going to get this figured out. Then you go to the second one. Okay. And the second one is where you're like, okay, I get the program. I know I have to clean my bike. I know where the Karcher power wash is at.
I know where tech inspection. Just shit like that. Yeah.
Right. You start to get, okay, you're familiar with the program. All right. And then you have those expectations of, well, I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. Now I just have to ride. And then you go out and ride and the track's 7 times worse than it was the prior weekend. And you're fucking 450 Group B and you're the first ones on the track and then the last ones on the track because they alternate, they flip it around. And just the whole time you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I so shitty at riding dirt bikes? How did I forget literally everything about what I'm doing?
High Point is one of the worst experiences I've had on a dirt bike. And I drove 15 hours and slept in my van.
How often did you ride like this?
Oh my God. And what, like, I look at videos, like little 30-second like film videos that Callie got, like of me coming down this hill. And I'm like, oh my God, is that me?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing?
He
Like,
shows,
what is this?
he shows at one of his schools. Now, see this squid coming down the hill right here? You don't want to do like this.
Dude, I'm telling you, that was like Colorado was actually pretty stress-free. We got there early. I walked the track. It was cool. I didn't really care how I did. I didn't qualify very well. I crashed in the LCQ, so it didn't really matter anyways. But like, it wasn't as stress-free because I was just taking it in. Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm here. I made it. I'm doing it.
Right.
Then I was like, okay, well, you know what? I got some money. High Point's not that far. Like, let's just go. Like, it's 3 hours further than we drove this time. Let's just go. So we decided last minute, drove to High Point, and it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had on a motorcycle. And I lined up for the LCQ and my bike won't start.
Yeah.
So that was
Your
awesome.
bike won't start?
My bike with 3 hours on it wouldn't start.
Ooh.
Water got in the
Kill switch.
It was 17 or 18,
18.
an 18 Honda 450 problem. It happened to Nick Peterson at Glen Helen. It's like, and the part was on back order too, wasn't it? Yeah, so you couldn't even get the part because what would happen is you'd fall over, whatever, and a tiny little crack will go on the underside of the kill switch. You power wash the bike, condensation goes up in, shorts the circuit, bike won't run.
Yeah, it was.
And it would happen to guys on the way to the starting line, on the starting line, 3 laps in. Jeremy Williamson, it happened to him. Pulled the whole shot at Redbud in the 450 LCQ. Right-hander, left-hander, mechanics area, step down, lands on the gas, bike does nothing. Over the bars. Yeah, because he fell down in practice and power washed his bike.
You know what? And like I'm a pro. I've been riding a long time. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yet here I am. The LCQ takes off, and I'm and it won't start. There's no kickstart backup. There's some other dude I've never met before is pushing me down the start straight so we can try to bump start it. It fires. I go 5 feet and it cuts out and stops again. Yeah. Like, so I'm pushing my bike back from the LCQ start straight. Like
Head hanging in
yeah,
shame.
like what? I just drove, 18 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm going to load up and turn around and drive home and have one of the worst experiences I ever had, only to be followed up by the absolute worst experience the next weekend at Muddy Creek.
So you've only raced one LCQ.
Yeah, and I only made it 3 laps.
Yeah. Fuck, dude.
Because me and another dude got together. Because the LCQ is fucking... That's worse than a Supercross LCQ. It's worse than a Arena Cross LCQ because the speeds are so much higher. And instead of 2 guys going after each other, it's 6 dudes going after each other into the same turn. Like, it's different. Yeah. It's a different experience.
Did you ride at Colorado when it was nighttime, when they did the night race?
No.
Well, see, and that was another thing. Like, all of these tracks, I had never, ever been to before. Ever. Yeah. Never even saw them. Like, I barely even could get any good YouTube footage. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it doesn't do justice. Like, watching it on YouTube really doesn't do anything
dude.
for you.
Before Muddy Creek, I literally watched every single GoPro video that there was, and I was like, I've got this figured out. It's like Moberly. I was watching the dirt. I'm like, I know how to ride Moberly. I know how to ride Cahokia. It's a sawdust track. If there was any race that I'll do good at,
that's what I
it's
thought.
The one. Yeah. And then now, mind you, yes, it rained. Okay, so that definitely changed it a lot. If I would have rode on Saturday the way that I rode on Sunday during amateur day, I could have qualified.
Was it pressure?
Conditions. 100% track conditions.
What it was is the pressure from knowing I was unprepared to ride those conditions. There you go. Yeah. And just the moment. There's a lot of pressure there.
I'm really feeling really good about outdoors this year, though, because we went to Oakland. And I'm prepared. I'm ready.
Hey, but that long ass straightaway. Okay, after you do the left-handed...
The good sand turn?
The good sand turn, then you drop down and the bike bottoms out, and then there's a kicker at the top of it, and then you click 4th gear, and the entire time your bike's going like this into a left-handed sweeper that's got rollers on it. It's close. There's no ruts, but it's close to, Glen Helen-like conditions.
It's Yeah, it's just like that. It's just like that.
Yeah, and that's where I ride, Scott, to prepare for going and racing. Because it's that bar to bar. The closest thing to an outdoor prep that we get here is
was Mega Camp last year.
Yeah.
100%.
Because of the rain.
Because of the rain. There is, and I remember Nick put something up about it, like when he was talking about riding outdoors and stuff, like Glen Helen or something. Like, there's nothing in the Midwest that will get you ready for riding outdoors. And like, it's
pretty true.
It's pretty true. Like,
there's one place, but it costs a lot of money. It's called Reynolds.
Yeah. And that's so funny because I had already worked with Benny and those guys, and I was going to Robbie's the week after Muddy Creek, and then I crashed and got hurt instead. But because I was like, I know that's what I need.
Yeah.
I need some kind of experience to get some kind of level of comfort in riding something like this that these guys ride every single day. It's like, okay, I'll jump in the van. I'll go spend it. I'll take a couple days off work. I'm already invested in this deal.
Yeah.
Like, and because that was leading right into Millville or Redbud, whatever it was.
So let's say we went Muddy Creek.
Just Southwick, whatever. Yeah.
And then I think there was a week off, then Redbud.
Yeah.
Then.
So I was going to go do like a couple days at Reynolds, go home, go back, and leading into Redbud and Millville. And then obviously that didn't happen, but there's the only other time that I think we could have rode something that would get us that close to that would be at Mega Camp last year.
Yeah.
Because of all the rain.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is like the only thing that really prepares you for it is riding in the mud. Honestly.
You just said Millville. Do I sound weird right now?
No.
Okay.
No, you sound like Mike.
I got like echoes right now. Wow. I'm in my own head. You said Millville? Remember the 50 track at Millville?
Micro.
Yeah, back in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that after the 50 track, Rob Bidos posted a thing on Instagram. They had like major pit bike races on that track.
They do every year at the
Do they
National.
still do it?
It's different. It's a different track. Okay, so where we used to race 50s is on the motocross track now. That's part of the sand rollers.
I thought it was behind, like, okay, here's the first set. You turn 180 and you hit the second set. I thought the 50 track was behind that.
It was. It was behind where the U is.
Yeah.
The left-hander.
Yeah.
After the first set of
It was back there.
Yeah.
Further west or whatever direction it is. Further up creek.
Okay.
Now the micro track is, how you cross the big bridge,
the metal bridge, the pro to get to the starting gate.
Yeah. After you cross, you go left. Oh. And then there's a clearing.
Past the motorhomes and everything that are parked right there. You go through those, down through the trails.
Yeah. It's off in the woods back that direction. They still race the 50s down there, and then they do the pit bike races over there too.
So a different 50 track.
Totally different 50 track.
Dang.
Way cooler.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. It's so funny to think back, like that little dust bowl with like a couple rollers on it was what we thought was so sick.
And it was like as wide as this table?
Yep.
Maybe.
Scott, the first year that I went to Millville, okay, so we raced 50s in 95.
Yep.
And then went back in 96, and we were on KX 60s.
Yep.
And we rode the big boy track on amateur day. And I remember we were walking the track, and I was like crying, literally telling my dad, I can't do this.
Yep.
Dude, the first time I went with Logan Fuller and Larry the Legend. He drove us up there all night one night and slept in the motorhome. And this has got to be 03.
Yeah.
I'm on a 125. And wake up and you're in this motorhome, and I'm in somewhere I've never seen anything like this before. We get out and we walk over to register, and I'm walking across the bridge and look up, and it's like the fog is just lifting, and you're in the valley crossing over the creek, and I'm looking at something that's just like out of a movie. It was like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and then went and rode it, and I don't know. That was the race I really wanted to do. That's the one I was really looking forward to doing.
You still can.
I still can.
Yeah.
Was it 95 that right by where we were camped, they lit a tree and a car on fire? The cops came and they lit the cop car on fire?
Yeah, that was 95. And then in 96 was the year that all the Canadians would hold their bikes wide open in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it kind of changed after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 95, the first year we were there.
Do you remember the year it flooded?
No, I don't think I was there.
The pits, it was like thunderstorm and everything. You might have not been.
Wait a second.
This would have been, I want to say this was.
Hold on. Jonah was riding and raced on a Honda on Pro Day that year.
So would that have been like 06?
No, a little bit later than that because Dennis got his pro card.
07 maybe?
It would have been 7. Yeah.
'Cause you're
What year did Carmichael lap everybody?
6 or 7.
It was that weekend, wasn't it?
It had to have been. Yeah. So that was
6.
I remember people's motorhome. I mean, they shut the beer garden down. The police made people it turned into like a riot and a big fight with a bunch of cops. People were getting thrown into mud holes and like people's motorhomes were getting flooded out. And it was wild. That was one of the crazy ones.
This last year at the National Team Bubba Burger, our pits at one point were 6 inches deep in water. I just wasn't even wearing shoes. The water was up to here.
Wow.
Yeah. In the pit. Honda's pits were totally flooded out. They were flooded out so bad that their giant 30 by 80 red tarp that they put on the ground, they said, fuck it, and left it.
I was just getting ready to ask you that.
There was this much silt on it. So we scraped the silt off, rolled it up, threw it in the back of the van, and then took it with us to Washougal, left it in the van. Or no, we pulled it out, scraped it, gave it the treatment, and then after the guys were on their way back to Unadilla, they had a weekend off, and we power washed it in the back of behind my house in the yard on the driveway, and it took us 3 times of folding and unfolding it like in thirds, so then we could power wash the whole thing up because it's bigger than my yard is.
Oh shit!
Dang.
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
They kept it. Dane and Brent kept it. So
now it's their new pit.
That's their new pit.
Tarp.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm so excited to go racing this year.
What are you going to race this year?
I don't know.
Don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I guess nobody knows really,
Yep.
to be honest. Dude, I rode his KTM. It's not even close to my 07 252 stroke.
You mean in the other way around?
Way around. Yeah. They're not even comparable. I
better.
have oh my God.
Okay.
I have an understanding of how he goes so fast on it now.
Do you still have your 2-stroke?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were going to sell it.
No. That's I'll keep that.
Do you have a 4-stroke at all?
As of like 8 p.m. last night, I have a 4-stroke now. But I have not had a 4-stroke for the last
What'd you buy
2
at 8
years?
p.m. last night?
I bought my 18 outdoor bike back from Chad Sainer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it is now in my garage.
And you can race that in outdoors this year.
It's not too old.
No,
yeah.
it's 18, 19, 20. There's a 3-year
It's a 3-year deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember somebody tried to show up with like an 08 Honda 450 all built one year in like 2010 or 2011, and they wouldn't let him race it. But it was like an old factory bike that somebody had and built, and they wouldn't let him race it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so so I sold it. I got hurt. I wasn't going to sell it because we had a bunch of money invested in it, and it just didn't have any time on it. I think it had like 4.2 hours on it. And I sold it to Chad because he wanted it. He wanted a 450, and I didn't have a use for it for however long. And so got rid of it, and I bought it back last night, and he has like 7 hours on it.
7 more hours?
7 total.
Yeah.
Total.
So that's 3 hours of Chad Sainer time on it.
It has, and I think I borrowed it one time in between there and rode it once.
Yeah, you did.
So at
that
Mega Camp last year, because so it has the same tires I rode at Muddy Creek on it. That not even all he did was change the chain. He put it like a heavier duty, like a Gold Series DID chain on it, and he put his numbers on it. I still have brand new number plates and a full set of numbers at my house for it. I just have to put them on.
Perfect.
Yeah, it literally could not be a better bike to go buy. The suspension still has my name on it. Same set of grips, same grip donuts.
Hey, speaking of buying bikes, Nick Peterson bought a new 2020 RMZ 450 from Donnells. Now, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the sure tip. What the fuck is the raffle? The raffle system.
The raffle system.
Have you been seeing this on Facebook?
It's all over now. Nick started a new wave of bike sales.
People are raffling their bikes off for $150 tickets up to cap, whatever. So Nick took all the aftermarket shit off of his 19, which he had like 6 hours on it, something like that. Built it back to a completely stock bike, and then bought one of those sure tip bingo things where, you know, it's like you tear a number. I don't know how it works exactly. But it's the new way, dude.
Because Carter is doing that.
Carter's
now.
doing it with his Cali.
His 18, his Supercross bike.
I've been seeing people do it with pit bikes. $10 buys for, you know, they're trying to sell a pit bike for $1,000. Instead, why not you get 100 people to buy $10 tickets?
Yeah, you still get your money. Why does it matter?
Doesn't matter whether, you know, 100 people give it to you or one person gives it to you. A lot more people are like, fuck it, what's $10 for a $1,000 bike? I'll do that. It's gambling, you know.
Is that even legal?
Yes.
It is.
Raffling's totally legal. Yeah. Same thing as crowdsourcing.
Dang.
I've never sold a bike like that.
I'm just going to start raffling everything.
I'm just planning on not having to sell these next two bikes and just
keep them forever.
Just keep them. I mean, for real. Like, I just stick them in the back of the garage. Like the 07 2D2 stroke. Like,
that one I could see you keep forever just because it's already old. But I feel like
the 450. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's already a couple years old, but like for me, it's literally brand new. Like the bike is as fresh as
the 450
your T is. Yeah, my 450.
Yeah, no, it's only broken in.
Pretty much, yeah.
So here's the thing about that. All right, like
never been raced.
Yeah. So just think about this though. Is it's like, okay, you spent however many $1,000s on that bike, and you could probably. Here's my question. Let's go back 10 years in four-stroke technology. What's the difference? TPI, air forks, which we went back to springs.
Right.
Chassis updates, plastic updates, different handlebars. Electric start. Okay, so we're not even talking about the performance of the motorcycle itself. The accessories are now what's, you know, catching up to what KTM's been doing for 20 years. So
I'm not sure about that, but okay.
Him and his KTM.
KTMs have had hydraulic clutches on them forever.
I will give them that.
Yeah, well, and they started out with oversized brakes and stuff because they had to do something to catch up to everybody else.
And now KTM's catching up on frame technology.
I'd say that
doesn't break in half.
I still think that the chromoly steel frame is the pinnacle of frames. You know, that KTM figured it out.
Do you think
the flex? He's all about the flex. See, I'm not big on the flex.
Do you think they'd ever offer two different versions? You ever think they'd come out with an aluminum version? Do you think they've ever tested an aluminum
version? It'll be on the gas.
No, they absolutely have, because back in 2002 and 3, WP made a series of aluminum frames that they tested.
You know what? I remember. Somebody did an article on it, a big write-up on it, and it was an after the thought. Like they did it, they wrote it in 03 about 02 or whatever. Yeah. I remember
and the frames, WP still has them. I mean, it just sits around as a thing that they did once as a reminder of why to never do it again, you know? But the thing is, dude, I mean, like, if you have something that works and you continue to R&D it over and over, and every 3 years you know, rebuild it from the ground up. Listen, we're not talking about the difference between the 96 CR250 and the 99 CR250. We're talking about something that has been proven for a very long time, that they fine-tune every single year, just a little bit.
Just time out for a second. Nathan Hudson just texted me.
Fuck yeah. Nate Dogg 106.
Nate Dogg 106.
So the thing about again, flex, I love chassis flex. I love my bike to get long and contract and go back and forth. And I mean, that's just how I've...
See, and that's like, I feel like so I've been riding the 07 252 stroke, and I feel like it flexes too much.
Really?
To me, it doesn't feel rigid at all compared to riding.
Part of that, though, is the suspension on that bike.
It's soft. Yeah. It's definitely soft, so that makes it. But, dude, your bike works really well.
Yeah.
I like it. The power comes on different than it's just a totally different ride, and it's nice. I rode it, I was like, well, this makes sense why he can go so fast on it.
I'll say this much, though. if I had to ride one of Jay's arena crosses, I'd rather ride it on your bike.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
100%, because it steers much tighter. It's a more compact bike. You know, you sit in the bike and not on the bike. So like real tight cornering would be far easier.
You sit way into it. Like I sat on the 450 last night and then went back and forth, and like it's almost like a chopper kind of feel like when you're right into it compared to the bikes now. Like all of them, it's straight
You
across
sit
the top.
on the
you
bike.
sit on the bike on top.
Did switching bikes? I'm far-fetched example here, but if you're riding a 110 around the pits and then you jump on your bike to go race,
Screwed with me.
how long is it weird for you? Because it was weird for me for like multiple laps.
Depends on the bike, but yeah. I mean, a pit bike didn't bother me, like that part. Because I don't really, after I wadded pit bikes a couple times, like I don't play ride pit bikes anymore. So like it just go from point A to point B. It didn't matter. But like going from his bike to my bike, a little bit of an adjustment.
So whenever we used to ride XR70s at my house, and we'd ride them for 5 hours.
Yes.
And then I would go ride my KX80 the next day. I'd be like,
Yep, exactly.
why is this bike so big?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's like guys want to trade bikes or something when you go ride and try it out. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I really don't.
I love doing that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't do it for me.
I would have to have a full day dedicated to just that bike to really get a true feeling if I like that bike.
I would have to agree with that. I would be the same way on that. But like for me, like I'll trade at the end of the day or something. Like I don't want to trade mid motos or in the morning or whatever like that.
When you switch and you ride, say 10 laps, and then somebody's like, "You like my bike?" I honestly couldn't give you a good answer.
Really?
I don't think so.
For me, what I like about riding other people's bikes, now obviously I have to have the levers in a certain position. I can do
to get a quality ride.
I can do bars back and forth. That doesn't bother me. But yeah, because it's like that baseline of being in this position and my finger goes here and this finger goes here and it can't be down here. And I know that like I ride this way. So I need to be able to execute this position out on the track. What I like to do is go ride somebody else's bikes with my control setup.
Yeah.
And feel all the different shit that it does. And it's like not breaking a habit, but figuring out, it's kind of like riding a different bull, you know, than the one that you ride every day, where it's like, oh, this one does this thing here. How do I change my riding style to accommodate for that? I can usually get that dialed in within 5 laps.
I mean, it doesn't take me long to adjust to the bike. And like after 5 laps, I'm going the same speed on that bike as I was on my bike, or relative, you know, like it's still going good, but it's a comfort thing. It would take me all day
to
get comfortable where, you know, I'm going to go bust out and get to where my speed needs to be or whatever. But
yeah, you're not going to underground on Vince Monteleone's YZ and clicking off that big uphill triple. Second lap. I mean, it's no fucking way. But I love, like, whenever last time I went to bar, I rode Ryan Holmes YZ 450, and obviously because it's 450 at bar on a 252 stroke, dude, it's outsides.
Yeah, just ride the bull.
You're outsides. You're riding the bull, third gear. On the 450, you let the bike come up off of the ground, do its thing, you know, going that shit, and then get in, and all the insides at B2B are usually deep as fuck, which on a 252 stroke, those are not the ideal ruts. But on a YZ 450, which is like steering that
chair?
Yeah, that chair. It's like steering a big ass naval ship where, like, when it tips, it's either going to keep tipping or it's going to bounce back up as you roll the throttle on. Where on the 250, you can position your body around and get the back end to slide around. But like on a YZ 450, that thing is going to do one of two things. It's either going to fall over or it's going to stand up. And there's only one control to stop it from doing either, and that's the throttle. Once I figured that out, dude, I was like, you know, Justin Barsha in every corner.
Just letting the big dog eat.
Yes, 100%. Chet Stedman. Yeah. Giving it the big, high, stinky cheese. Cheddar.
He has ridden this chair today. I mean, you have thrown so many whips, scrubs, leans in this chair.
Because you need
Red Bull. I love Red Bull. Red Bull.
Oh, watermelon Red Bull. Are you riding tomorrow?
Maybe. I don't know. Depends. I thought about trying to cash in my, my IOUs with Bruce and going to bar tomorrow. But I was like, dude, no, that's fucked up. I've been riding a lot. There's no point in me going out
and
there.
Stealing somebody's spot or
Stealing
whatever.
somebody's spot, yeah.
Or putting it at over the numbers out of the, just wait a week and you'll be fine.
Or I'll see if I can go out there on Monday.
Yeah, you don't work now. I mean, you're unemployed, so.
Dude, and it's amazing because
Notice I didn't say self-employed. I said
unemployed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, if the IRS is listening, I'm unemployed.
How many bikes have you guys put a linkage on?
One.
So I've only done it on the new Hondas, like my 250F and the 450 that I just got back. And dude, I'm telling you what, that's the first time I've done it, maybe a second time. And it was it's the first time I've noticed how much of a difference it made.
Really?
So I did it in 2010, I put it on a Honda and I didn't really notice a difference. But this bike in the 18 250F that I had, it was like, this thing, it will not come off. Like it's stuck to the ground. It's going to go wherever I want.
That's awesome.
It was a big change. We were just talking about chassis and suspension. I wanted to know how many you'd done it to.
I put the Ride Engineering link on my 17 250SX, and I took a bike that worked great and turned it into some fucking animal where it was either all the way out or all the way in. Like it was either the rear wheel was all the way extended or it was buried into the rear
fender. You fucked up a good thing.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I loved the way that, and I actually took the link off, but I tried it 2-3 weeks and it just didn't work.
Not working. Your bike works good now. I don't know if the coatings, I don't know how much of a difference that stuff makes. That stuff, I don't know how many other bikes I've rode with it, that I've thought about it while riding it.
One thing that putting those coatings is it definitely eliminates stiction. Okay. So it is a very, and it's something I had to get used to, is it is a more fluid.
Yes. I didn't know if that's what was causing it or if it was just your valving setup or what, but the bike works just like that.
Different to your bike where yours is like a waterbed.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, dude, riding his bike is a lot of fun because it does this shit where it literally does this whole bike is just floating through whatever.
You're riding a 1980s Cadillac just cruising down the road,
Yeah, a gun runner. Yeah, that's the way his bike feels.
With light switch power when you're in it.
Yeah.
But if you're not in it, it's like
nothing.
The vacuum cleaner.
Blowing, not even sucking. So my bike, it's like the front, his bike, it's like it doesn't have independent suspension. If the front is going up, the rear's going up too. My bike is more independent, so it rocks where his floats, okay? So you have to get used to this motion and just know, and I also run a soft rear end with a really fast rebound because I'm like, I have 12 inches of travel. Why not use all 12 of them? Now, the only way to capitalize on that is to have a very fast rebound. So it gets all the way through the stroke and you're never packing.
So we have a Sega Genesis setup.
Yeah.
And then
PS4.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
100%.
Both are equally fun.
Yeah.
In very different ways.
Very different ways, yeah.
Yeah, no, actually my bike feels more technical. Okay, digital, analog.
But the only way to win on his bike is to punch the guy next to you or kick them.
Kick him.
Just like motocross championship. The only way to win on your bike is to have a good setup and just ride smooth.
Like Motocross Madness.
Like Motocross Madness, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, but I mean, we were talking, it's like if, let's say his bike was my bike and tomorrow I could only ride his bike, I would need a month of riding before I could go KTM 250SX speed, whereas for him, it would probably take you 2 weeks
to go the other way. Right,
yeah. Because it's doable. You can ride that bike extremely fast.
You can go fast on it. It's a lot. It's just a lot of. It's just different. You're riding a vintage bike.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Cole Seeley's trying to give you a run for your money
with his coffee company?
I didn't see that. I was talking about the Electron.
Oh yeah, he's got a big Electron deal on his Honda.
Yeah.
His product review.
I know.
Yeah.
He's
also now he's got a KTM and a coffee company.
Oh wow.
Yep. Cole Seeley literally is doing. I swear to God, the guy follows me on Instagram.
He is Jeff Crutcher.
Reincarnate.
California.
Yeah, but like the
What's his coffee company?
I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, I don't know either.
Gimmick.
Is it Bump Start?
Bump Start.
Yeah.
Bump Start Coffee, and then
Yeah.
he's got, well, I'm thinking Seeley Speed House or whatever is what his bike
Okay.
builds go under.
Bleach. That's his thing. Bleach Supply or something like that. Or that was that all black Honda that he had. It was called the Bleach bike,
I don't know.
which I
I
guess
think it's
is
cool he's doing those builds. but-
Dude, I do too. I think it's great. I think that
Do you test competitors' coffee?
yeah.
Do you drink coffee?
No, but the more that just being in the presence of Gimmick, it makes me want to think about it.
See, it makes me want to think about it less.
Yeah, anything,
I see coffee, I want to punch it out of somebody's hand.
I'm not,
Fuck you, Jeff.
I'm not committed enough yet to try a 5-pound bag.
you don't have to be.
But are you a what do you offer? A bean and a
A bean and ground.
ground.
Yep.
Which do you prefer?
Well, okay, it depends on what I'm doing.
He cooks
coffee.
it.
I cook my coffee every morning.
He
Okay,
brews
so
it a different way than he doesn't put it in a coffee maker.
Yeah, if
Right.
I was going to put it in my Mr. Coffee.
you have a Mr. Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need ground.
Okay.
Unless you want to buy a grinder.
I see. So you want the whole experience. So you grind your beans.
Yeah.
Which gets you the same result and taste as if you just bought the ground.
No, sir. It is there is a different flavor to it. It's the same thing as eating a chicken that was caught on the farm yesterday and buying Tyson tenders.
Okay.
That's a very extreme difference, but it's the same thing. There is a flavor profile difference between grinding the beans down into the grounds minutes before you drink it versus having ground coffee.
Okay.
Now listen, I'm going to tell you right now, my ground coffee is fucking excellent. Okay. I prefer the flavor profile of a freshly ground coffee, but it's just a preference. Okay. Some people aren't into that. It's a stronger flavor. Really. It's not even that there's a different flavor. It's just stronger.
Okay. So I need grounds.
You would need ground coffee.
And being a beginner, a first timer,
Mr. Cafe is perfect.
Dude,
Yes.
let's do a show, a coffee test review
Ooh, that would be a
of
good
the
idea.
Gimmick
Yeah.
the next time we're together.
but I want to have like
Let's do it
Folgers,
both. We'll do it
Maxwell.
at your house or my house or something, and
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Folgers and Maxwell are the same thing. They taste the exact same. That's terrible coffee.
Okay.
Only everyone in the world drinks it.
Yeah,
But
because it's so cheap.
now, okay, my question for you is, don't you have different levels?
I have two different roasts. Yes, I have dark roast, which is that is my everyday coffee, and then I have a medium roast that I cycle through different roasts. Okay, so my coffee supplier that I get my roasted coffee from, they have many different varieties of coffee. Every time that I offer a medium roast, which I only sell 12 bags of it at a time, I will order a different medium roast. So the difference is the bean itself, where it came from, how long it was dried for, how it was dried, when it was shucked, when the literal bean was taken out of the berry that the coffee grows in. Oh, he's doing that thing.
Yeah, you've gone too far.
You know a lot about beans.
I'm a bean boy. Nobody knows beans like I know beans. So there are many
Was that
varieties.
from something?
Adam Zarda. Swear to God, Adam and I we're at his dad's house whenever they still had a track out there, and they had, like always, they had fresh barbecue at the house, and we got done riding, and Adam's like, "Hey, do you want some barbecue?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" So we go into the house, and there's a platter as large as this is, which they just get stuff from the restaurant practically every night, and Adam's. He's like, "Mom, where's the spoon?" And whatever, she comes out and there's this spoon. It's an old wooden spoon, And like there's this much of the handle that is like black from hand greasing it, and then the rest of it is dyed red. Okay. And and they have a specific spoon that they stir their beans with. Okay. So Adam sticks and everything that Adam does is an innuendo in some fucked up perverted
He's putting
way.
on a show.
Yeah. And he's like, so tenderly, like, sticks the spoon in the beans. Okay. And he looks over at me. He starts stirring, and he's like, like kind of like moving just his nipples are moving at this point. He looks over at me.
Have you ever just been able to move your nipples?
No, but Adam's already can. And he looks at me and said, I used to work in the bean factory. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. He said, yeah, that's why I have this special spoon. I'm like, okay. He said, Jeff, nobody knows beans like I know beans. And then he takes the spoon and he's right onto the plate. Swear to God, best barbecue beans I've ever had in my life. Zarda baked barbecue beans. You can pick them up at any Price Chopper or Hy-Vee in the Kansas City metropolitan area.
God, we need cameras.
Wow. Yeah.
We need cameras. We need a YouTube this shit.
But anyway, yeah. So that's where that came from.
So, and he was talking about coffee.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay.
I don't
Sorry.
know.
So do I need a
Beans.
medium roast,
Okay.
or do I need a dark roast?
No. For you, the dark roast would be the way to go.
Okay.
Okay, because there's two things you have to consider.
Okay.
In coffee, think of like there's dark roast, and then there's light roast, and then halfway in the middle there's medium roast. Have you had many different types of chocolate, like dark chocolate,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
like milk chocolate?
Yeah.
Okay, so like a dark chocolate is like the darkest chocolate available is 100% cacao or cocoa. And they're different things, but the darker the chocolate, the more cocoa bean there is in it.
Okay.
The lighter the chocolate, the more milk there is in it. That's the difference. Coffee can be measured on the same scale. The darker the roast, the longer the coffee was literally burned inside of the oven. The lighter the roast, the less time it spends. Now, there's a thing that happens, and it's the same thing with cocoa. The longer it's burned, the less acidity there is. The less time that it's burned, the higher the acidity. Whereas in chocolate, it would be bitter and sweet is the difference between, cocoa content. So you're talking about, number one, how long it's burned. Number two, what type of beans they are. Because there's not just a coffee plant. There's Ethiopian, there's Jamaican, there's Kona, there's Costa Rica, there's Ecuador, there's Brazilian coffee. Okay, so it's okay, think of it like it's a different bean all around the world. It's the same thing, but you know how like oranges are different. Florida oranges are different than California oranges.
Okay.
Same thing with coffee beans. Then there's the picking process, all right? So the smoother a coffee, and this doesn't matter whether it's light roast or dark roast, the smoother the coffee, the longer the coffee has been dried inside of the kernel or shuck, okay? Coffee beans by themselves on the tree, it looks like a little red berry. It's about this big, and there are 2 coffee beans inside of each berry. And they're green too, they're bright green. And outside of that is this gelatinous, mucousy membrane, and then the red berry on the outside. You can straight eat coffee, okay? It's very sweet. The beans are practically impossible to chew, so there's no point in chewing them. But like the jelly on the inside is delicious. In order to get a very smooth coffee, like my coffee, which that was very specific. I wanted an extremely smooth coffee, the very opposite of a mass-produced Folgers, Maxwell House, etc. The difference is the amount of time that the bean is dried inside of the jelly, because the jelly is super sweet. Okay. All coffee, all good coffee, is air and sun dried. So they literally take it, spread it out on a tarp or, concrete or gravel, whatever, and they let it dry from the sun. Okay. And the sun dries it inside of that berry. And all that jelly, that's the gelatinous mucus on the outside, absorbs into the bean and sweetens it. So my coffee has been before, from time to pick to time to roast, it's probably set around outside for 2 or 3 weeks in the sun. That's why it's so smooth. A Maxwell House or a Folgers, they literally pick it off of the tree and it goes in the roaster as soon as they carry it in. That's why it's so bitter. People think that bitter coffee is strong coffee, but and like if you drink a Maxwell House or you drink a Folgers and you get that, woo, that taste, that's an extremely bitter coffee. And the reason it's so bitter is because it goes from bean to roasted like that instantly. There's no drying time. That's mass produced coffee. That's why it's so cheap, because the coffee never sits around. It goes from the plant to the roaster immediately. That's why it tastes the way that it does. That's why my coffee tastes the way it does.
So people that say like coffee makes them shit their pants.
It's the caffeine.
Yeah.
Oh, it has nothing to do with
It has
the strong.
nothing to do with anything but caffeine.
Caffeine is a diuretic. So what that means is it literally absorbs the water in your body. Okay, so that's why people shit their brains out after you drink coffee, because it literally soaks all the water up in your body, and then you have...
It dehydrates you.
Yeah, there you go.
And makes you shit.
Yep.
So if you get overly dehydrated, you get the shits.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I didn't know that about coffee, but I knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what you're saying though is a dark roast coffee doesn't mean it's going to be strong.
No. Strength is determined by how much coffee you're brewing at a time. So like, let's say you have...
There's a real science to this.
There really is. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Is this a gimmick?
No. I don't know if you know this, but the only gimmick is in the name.
Oh.
And he's taking it back from the hipsters.
And we are taking coffee back from the hipsters.
Okay.
With the official coffee of hard work.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to know where to hide or how do you hide a paycheck from a hipster? You put it under his work boots.
Oh, man.
There's a few people that know that joke in a different version.
Why are you looking at me?
Okay. Because you've said it to me before. Okay, let's say that this is how much coffee you want to drink.
Okay.
All right. So for this much amount of coffee, you need about this much beans or grounds. Okay. And we're going to filter all this water through this little bit of coffee right here. Now, let's say you still want this much amount of coffee, but you've increased your actual beans to this much. Now you have stronger coffee because it's a literal dilution. Okay. Like
it's just like mixing
race gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and premix. Yeah. It's 32 to 1 or 50 to 1.
So I would want to start out with a
50 to 1.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because what you don't want, unless you just absolutely fall in love with it right away, what you don't want is a super strong coffee, because it's the same thing.
Then you won't want to drink it.
With beer, wine, alcohol, whatever. People say that it's an acquired taste. It's the same thing. And cheese, too. Cheese is another thing that's very similar.
It's like drinking a White Claw or a glass of tequila.
Precisely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's no laws when you're drinking White Claws.
That's funny. So... Yeah, we can get you dialed in with some coffee for sure. And again, dark roast has nothing to do. People are afraid. There are so many people that are like, dude, I'm gonna wait until you get your medium roast back in style. I'm like, hey, dark does not mean strong at all. Dark is a flavor profile. It does not mean volume of flavor.
Didn't know that. See, I was one of those. I thought dark meant strong, gnarly coffee. I thought it was the tequila of coffees.
No, sir. And a common misconception also is that darker, stronger coffee means more caffeine. Not the case. The longer the bean roasts, the less caffeine content there is. So that's why like a breakfast blend or donut shop blend, those are really light roast coffees. And those are always what you drink in the morning because it's the one that gives you the most boom, whereas a very, very dark roast like Starbucks, that's great. Like I could go to Starbucks at 8 p.m., get their tallest coffee, drink it, go home, fall asleep. Because the caffeine content in it is practically none.
Unless you get an espresso.
What is like...
Now, hold on. And a shot of espresso doesn't necessarily ramp up the caffeine content. Yeah. because espresso is also an extremely dark roast of coffee. It's just extremely concentrated.
What is the difference between espresso and? I don't even know what I mean, I know it's a drink, but what is it?
An espresso is a concentrated coffee drink. So instead of drinking
It's
one of
a
these,
shot.
Yeah,
It's a shot of
It's the
coffee.
difference between this and a 5-hour energy.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's just less of it. Espresso is really strong. Now, people, what they like to do is they'll get like a latte or a caramel macchiato, something like that, and then they'll put a shot of espresso in it. So, like, you know, you always think of like some person going to Starbucks and they have this fucking laundry list in order. I would like a venti caramel macchiato, double shot, and, you know, whipped cream on top or whatever. And it's like takes them 30 seconds to name their order, which is total fucking stupidity, by the way. But anyway, people, they think that that's like how you have to order coffee or something like that. No, whenever you want to start drinking coffee, you get an 8-ounce cup of coffee.
You put anything in it? Creamer?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
No, I want to drink coffee. I don't want a hot milkshake. Yeah. A lot of people can't stand the taste of coffee, but they like the caffeine that it gives them, so they put, you know, milk and creamer and sugar and all that extra shit in it. But the thing about the sugar, people also will drink coffee with a lot of sugar in it and think that it's the caffeine that's giving them this zing, you know, but it's the sugar.
And then they crash.
And then they crash afterwards, yeah. And then you have to, you know, it's the same thing with drugs where you have to double down on it to bring you back from the crash. Yeah, I suggest to anyone, if you're not into coffee.
How did we jump off into drugs there? But okay.
Yeah.
Coffee and drugs.
But it is
And beans.
it is a drug at the end of the day. I mean,
Yeah.
caffeine.
Unsweet iced tea is a drug. That's what will get you.
Yeah.
Came in with 4. I'm
But
leaving.
it has
God damn, you drink a lot of. There was 2 in the fridge.
yeah.
There's 2 tea in the fridge over there.
It's caffeine, dude. You're drinking.
Oh, I might have left those in there from yesterday. That's no good. That's a bad thing for me to do.
Those are only 99 cents a piece, though, right?
I know.
That's why he drinks 12 a day.
That's the thing about it. It's like, okay, down here, I had an ice maker down here. I had a tea maker down here.
Hey, not to interrupt, would you guys like to order a pizza?
That does sound pretty tasty.
You want to stick around for a slice?
Sure.
Okay, keep
I don't
talking.
care.
I'll find us something.
Okay.
I-
Where was that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I bring up pizza and it's just
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you lost me now.
Let's take a tea.
Okay, time out.
Let's take a tea.
Time
You
out.
take tea.
Yeah, let's take a tea.
Okay, Scott, tell us what's on your mind.
Was I supposed to? Oh, Sharpino's Pizza, available 24 hours a day. We deliver in any weather.
Do they really?
That's what their commercial is.
He sounds like Will Ferrell out of Old School when he's standing next to the truck with the little donkey in the back and he shoots himself with a trank. Dude, you're
Dart.
crazy.
You got a dart in your neck.
Hey, man. You got a fucking dart in your neck.
What? Oh, you're cool, man. You're cool.
So what? Okay, so what's
And
funny
we're
about what's so funny about this is that you literally, like, it doesn't matter how hard you try, you cannot talk normal.
No, it makes you. It makes you slow down. I should take my headphones off.
Yeah, you should.
Off.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Oh, boy.
Corona time. And we're back.
Yeah, we are.
Gets better.
Ask me anything.
How's that Red Bull?
I love Red Bull.
Is it really affecting you right now?
Not really, no.
Oh.
You could use 2 or 3 more.
I could do another one. Honestly, I'll be honest. I could.
I'll
use,
do one. I'll do one. That's
Fuck it,
also
we're doing it live. Oh, okay, here. Prop me up and just give me a reason to sound official.
How many COVID-19 deaths do we have?
No,
today?
God
Okay.
damn it. Give me something else. Something motocross related
Motocross related.
that I can really.
Racing say racing is coming back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2020 season of motocross. Racing is coming back to a track near you. Fear not, for the coronavirus will one day go away, for we have herd immunity.
I heard that the two-stroke exhaust kills coronavirus instantly.
Breaking. This just in. Maxima K2 proven to eliminate the coronavirus. Whenever you stand within 6 feet behind a muffler on a bike that's rev tuning to 10,000 RPMs. Inhale the K2, baby, and we are killing the corona. All right, we're done.
Well, that's a good time, everybody.
Yeah. Wow.
I wonder how many people are just like, okay, this is where I tune out.
This is enough. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they're just going to be like, what was that? Is what they're going to do.
Or they replay it.
Or they replay it.
Or they start talking like that.
Welcome to the Over the Bars podcast. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously I can set up anything in here. It's where I can adjust our voices. I can actually do it on the fly too.
On the fly. So
yeah.
like if I didn't have headphones on, I wouldn't have known.
No, then it wouldn't have been funny until
later.
Yeah, post-production.
Post-production. When will this go live? When will you hit the internets?
Oh, while we're eating pizza.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so here in a little bit. Yeah. So we covered that you're leaving, right? Did we talk about that on?
No. We have not covered.
No.
Not on this. No.
Oh, well,
okay. Well, hold on. You have something that you're embarrassed about due to shutdown.
Oh, the quarantine. Okay, is there anything like that has changed in your lifestyle because of sheer boredom?
I don't know. I went through a complete and total lifestyle change by
not
leaving
really.
work.
I mean, I've been more active since quarantine.
Same.
I have been way more active.
Okay, so Brittany and I discovered Call of Duty Mobile on our phones.
It's mobile?
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah. Well, now it's like a nightly ritual. We have to play Call of Duty Mobile. And like we were laying in bed last night and it's like midnight. And all of a sudden she's like, we didn't log in. We didn't log in to get our points. So we had to log in and play Call of Duty.
Log in and play. And not lay in bed and not talk to each other and play with your phones.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So I play Call of Duty Mobile daily.
I have been playing, and actually not in the last couple of days, but recently I've played a lot of Call of Duty and the new Supercross game with Benny and Tevin Tapia and Brad Stretz.
Those are your guys?
Those are the guys. Like, you get a text, get online, or are you getting on tonight? Like, I feel like I'm back in college again.
I like the new Supercross game.
I think that Tevin is pretty deep into MX Simulator too.
Might be.
That's too hard for me.
It takes a special breed.
Yeah.
MX Simulator is cool, but I've actually never really played it. And the times that I have played it, I didn't get anything accomplished because I didn't know what I was doing.
It makes me wonder if MX Simulator would be easier. Okay, obviously car racing games are easier with a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Would it be easier if you had
bars,
maybe not a full scale, set of pro tapers, but like something
like a full rig setup.
Yeah. Have either of you done the VR, the virtual reality bike at the Supercross? The ones that I've been to, they didn't have it set up, but I wanted, like, somebody set me up there. I want to do it.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. What about the NASCAR dude that got fired, canned because of being a dumbass on an iRacing driving a simulator?
That's rough.
Like, way to just you don't really come back from that. No. I don't think.
There has to be a road of redemption for him, though.
You would think so.
I think the World of Outlaws, the sprint cars thing, made a press release saying that if he goes through classes and follows blah 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 and doesn't do it again, that they're going to allow him to race.
Okay.
So he's going to race sprint cars.
Tony Stewart killed a guy.
Yeah. And he owns a race team. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so it's just like Kevin Hart. I mean, like, he was all set up to host the Oscars, and then somebody dug up a tweet that he said something about somebody being gay.
Mm-hmm. And then just
10 years ago.
He's like, fuck it.
Yep, I don't need to. I've already said sorry. I've done this. I've done that. I don't need to host the Oscars then, And for somebody in that position, that's a huge thing for your career, But
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, that's been a couple years ago. But that's what it makes me think of. But I mean, just what an ordeal. You're in quarantine. There's nothing else to do. You've got a $10,000 race simulator rig in your living room. And here you are getting all fired up over this game, and now you're canned from your $10 million a year job.
Sucks.
Interesting.
It sucks that that's the way it is.
And then now we have the nonchalant Supercross guys talking shit to each other over social media without actually talking shit to each other.
Can you get okay? Obviously, Cooper Webb made his statement post. What are some of the examples?
So Cooper Webb is, I think he was like the first one. Like, we should be able to go racing, and you should be ready, and this and that. And then Chad Reed is like, I changed brands yesterday, and now I'm ready to go. Yeah. And then Roxon put up some stuff that said, he put up all these statistics of the virus and this and that, and shouldn't be too soon, and nothing's different from 2 weeks ago, and just another look at it, his opinion of it. And then Tomac just hasn't put anything out, I don't think. But
does Tomac put anything out?
No, he put out a whip video. Like one or two, like yesterday. But that, I mean, I'm just those. It was one of those things. I saw this. Okay, what is anybody else saying?
Yeah.
And it seems to me that it's a Webb Roxon thing, and somehow Reed in some of Reed's comments, there's shit in there about it, And so everybody's just talking shit on each other.
Good.
Like, we're not ready, and then how are you not ready? So
I would agree with Webb. How are you not ready?
You were ready. You were ready.
Yeah.
And what is different? Yeah, there's a month break. That means you should be even more ready.
Readier.
Readier. The guys at that level. Mm-hmm. But I know, like, the Geico guys, they're all riding like stock 450s or whatever because they don't want to wear out parts, whatever. Yep. And then Alden's guys took a month break.
Well, they went down. They went
break
to 1 day a week.
So they cut way down on their riding. And then some, and like the Star Yamaha guys haven't skipped a beat.
Right.
They've been out at MX Haven just ripping.
I think what you're seeing are the companies that are more fiscally conservative than others. Like, Yamaha's like, fuck it. We have a lot of money to spend, and we're going to continue funding this. Because the thing is, the season's just going to be longer. Now.
Right.
So you're going to burn through more materials. Yeah. That's really what it boils down to. How much do you have stockpiled that you can go to, whenever the season goes an extra 2 months?
Right, because what it is your engine guys aren't working. Your suspension guy, your guys in the race shop can't be there or whatever. They're non-essential, whatever it is. Or even in Austria. I mean, Husky KTM, they're not
shut down.
They're not manufacturing motorcycles right now. So there's other places like that, or whatever little piece that comes from China, it's not coming.
No.
So,
how gnarly is it going to be, even like on a local level, when all this lifts and everybody tries to cram all of their races, all their series races, all of their King of Kansas City, everything like that, all into like a 3-month span?
I think it sounds like a very exciting 3 months. I'm looking forward to it.
I think everything will like boom.
I hope that the economy-wise, everything comes back faster, just as fast as it went away. Now, I don't know if it will, but because there's over 30 million people on unemployment right now.
How many of those 30 million people are... How many?
I'm just talking big scale picture numbers.
My question is, how many of those people really contribute to the economy? How many of those people take cash payments, servers, bartenders, that kind of stuff? How many people are there that are deemed non-essential?
Well, what I'm saying is I hope people are going out and spending that money they haven't been spending for the last 4 weeks, regardless of what they do for a living. Especially, and if they get the $600 on top of their unemployment, like that should make a big difference. Some people, that's more money than they made working, But the thing is I hope those people take that money and go.
So,
okay, pizza's here, gotta go. Bye.
Yeah. Click. Gone.
I don't even know what I'm saying, but anyways, I just hope people will go out and spend the money. I think they will. And I think they will, because they haven't been doing anything. And especially, it's been wintertime, it's been rainy, it was cold when this started, then it's been rainy, and nobody's doing anything.
With that
Everything's been
said,
closed.
Have you guys changed your spending habits at all?
I mean, I bought a motorcycle yesterday.
Yeah, you spent more money.
Right.
No.
Did you get the stimulus check?
No. Well, not now. Not yet.
I got mine. Like the first day that people were getting them, I got mine.
No, but as soon as I get mine, I'm getting 1,200 unsweetened iced teas.
Now that's stimulating the economy.
Yeah,
a dollar at a
That
time.
is it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just what and I think it's going to happen. I think people, Americans are consumers. We just consume. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the newest, latest, greatest. We want it. We buy it. We stand in line for iPhones. It's the same fucking phone it was the last time. You know, stuff like that. But I'm just hoping, like you're saying, I think it's going to boom. I think it will come back. Maybe not to the point that it was, but I don't think it's going to take as long as it has in the past, like in 2008. When the shit, took a fan. Shit took a fan.
Yeah.
Shit took a fan.
It does take a fan.
When my fan takes a shit take a fan.
But just in general,
If it's a big ass fan, then hell yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I'm with
anyways.
you. I think it, and this is just speculation, but maybe this is wishful thinking also, is that we're going to rock it back up, okay? Because everybody's going to be gung-ho. The people that...
We can go out to eat again.
Yeah. And there's going to be line out the door at every store. People are ready to buy new clothes because I think for the most part, there's a lot of people that filed for unemployment, but how many of those people are just gaming the system? Because I firsthand know people that are perfectly fine that are like, well, I'm just going to collect my $600 that my employer paid in. Might as well, And then there are people that are unemployed.
Or people that have money that are, hey, I'm going to take a leave of absence and collect my unemployment, even though I don't need it, but I'm going to take a leave of absence because all this crazy stuff going on in the world, I don't want to be a part of it. I'm going to stay home.
I didn't file for unemployment. I could have. I got a letter from the Kansas Department of Treasury that said, hey, you're eligible for $480 a week or whatever it is. But I didn't want to take it because you have to pay taxes on it at the end of the year. And the way that I set up my business, and how I'm paying myself, it's in my best interest to not do that. Yeah. I think it'll shoot up. We'll see a real big peak, and then we'll drop down. Spending, domestic product, everything will go back down. Stocks will level off. But then where we're at will be better than it was.
I agree.
Right.
We'll shoot up and then plateau off 5% better than it was.
I think people will appreciate things more.
Absolutely.
And so they'll. I'm talking obviously a small scale, but like for me, like for RC car racing, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go this weekend. But now that you can't go, I'm like,
we better go.
I want to go. And now it's like the track's like, well, we're probably going to close up forever because, we don't know if we can make it through this. And you're like, oh, shit, I got to go. Like, I want to go. And I think it'd be the same for everything.
Well, that, and I mean, and I, like, you brought up about the tracks. Like, I hope they don't all just totally shit on each other.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to happen. But that's a blessing to the riders. Now you get to pick and choose what you want to do. But as a promoter, that's really not going to be good.
Hopefully it doesn't, dilute things too much to where there's too many options.
And hopefully guys will double up on stuff or double points races or whatever, which doesn't help them by any means, but it gets, I don't know.
I think that one of the net positives that we'll see after this is online sign up, online waivers, new protocol for tea time style riding because here's the thing. Motocross is a luxury sport. All right. Most of the people that are riding and racing motocross, if you don't own your own track, odds are you're going to be willing to spend $40 to ride because here's the thing. It is the cheapest in America to ride along the I-35 Beltway. Okay. Everywhere else, you go St. Louis east, it goes up $10. You go Denver west, it goes up $10.
I've been telling track owners forever they need to charge more.
And they do. Costs keep going higher.
Right.
Less people are showing up. Time to charge more.
But then somebody wants to throw a fit. Little Timmy's dad wants to throw a fit because it's $40 to ride. Like, well, it's $40 to fill up the tractor full of fuel, and everything else. The liability insurance itself.
Now here's the thing, and I think that this will be a new model, maybe here going out, is that there will be, like I keep saying, tea time. There will be a spot reserved system. Like RJ and Ryan and Troy are doing at Kingsville right now, where they're 4 days a week, the track is open, but you have to reserve your spot in advance.
How cool would it be? We always talked, what if they did skill level reserved riding? So you no longer have Billy Bob 250C in the 450A practice.
Okay, I like where your head's at with this, but I would say the first flaw in that is that if if pro riders are only allowed to ride between 11 and 2 and all of us have jobs,
Right.
you know, then it kind of, then
Yeah.
nobody's going to be there. So I
Right.
think the flip side of that is, well, we have these times, this time slot. And then the people that work nights can ride in the morning. The people that work in the mornings can ride at night. And you have those
And it
two
would be
different
up
groups.
to me calling you, hey, let's get a time.
Yeah.
Just like you do when you go play golf.
Exactly.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I would much rather pay more money, ride with a smaller group of people and people that I know, if you got everybody together and be like, hey, let's do it, then pay less money and go out there in a trail of 200 bikes trying to make laps at the same time.
So that's one of the things that has been a problem with Merwin is he's only open 5 times a year.
Yeah.
And all 5 times there's 300 people on a practice day and practice is 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And now the flip side to that is you have straight rhythm, you have the pit bike track, you have the corner track, you have the trails, you have the motocross track. So there's plenty of riding to be done off of the motocross track. But honestly, dude, like if I'm going to the motocross track on a public day, I'm going for, you know, to ride a gnarly track that's been prepped, that's been beat to shit by everybody else.
Yeah. When's the last time you rode straight rhythm?
I did it one time on a YZ125 and I was like, I'm not skilled enough for this.
Like I'm good. The risk here is not worth the reward. I'm going to go back
It's
to the
really
track.
cool. Yeah, but no, I came to burn laps. I came to get better.
Yeah.
Not fuck off. So anyway, I believe hopefully the tea time model takes off and they make it available because here's the thing. RJ and Ryan, they're making $800 every time they open the track. Is that a lot? No. But is it a lot whenever you're making $800 every day that the track is open? Because Scott, can you imagine making $800 5 days a week?
Be pretty nice.
Cash.
Yeah. The IRS, you're not listening to this.
Yeah. Now, obviously, listen, I'm not speaking on behalf of Kingsville, and that is totally speculation that I'm just saying this.
Right. You're just taking the numbers of what it costs to ride, how many people you can have,
Exactly.
so on and so forth.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I don't know what it costs them to operate the track a day. I don't know, you know, what their prep costs are. I don't know if they have flaggers or an EMT or anything. You start factoring all that shit in, plus paying yourself, then, yeah, you may only be walking away with $300 a day. But that's a damn good $300 a day.
It's also guaranteed.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing is if it's a reserve, you could sell out a practice reserve 2 weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not do that? Why not start doing that? I understand you got to have open practices. People are not going to be able to make it to a reserve tee time, but might as well just go ahead and have your open practice. And then the next day, 10 to 2, 3 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And have those times available. And whoever, doesn't matter who it is, you put your $40 in, you get to go ride.
And really, you could smash those times smaller.
You could.
Smaller time
You could do
slots.
3 groups. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say is if you really think about it, most people, your average guy, he may spend 8 hours at the track on open practice day, but he actually only rides
Maybe an hour on the bike. Maybe an hour on the
at
bike.
the most. So if you condense that to 3-hour sessions, he's still able to get
Well,
just
and you're
as much
forcing
riding
him
time.
to ride more.
Yeah.
Like, hey, in that time frame, you're structured between, or maybe it's just open. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So-
And there's nothing stopping you from still being there and hanging out. So you still could spend your 8 hours there. You just done
Right.
with your riding.
So I mean, you can show up early and wait your turn,
Yeah.
or hang out afterwards and smash cold ones.
Yeah.
So let's start thinking about it that way. Hey, people are willing to spend the extra money to get that. Now, the hashtag get what you pay for thing that Luke and Tracy did at Merwin, where it was $100, that was fucked up. That was wrong. I think that was really elitist, holier than thou. Like that was not cool of them to do $100 practice day. Because then it become like this status thing. And like I got invited. And the other thing is people were getting invited to go ride for only $20. You didn't have to pay the full $100. But there was like this image of you have to pay $100 to go ride. I thought,
like if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to take the whole track. Like I'm going to rent the whole day.
yeah, if
Like,
I'm
just give
paying
me the-
$100 to ride, I'm the only fucking person that's there. Right. Which is stupid. I would never want to
Right.
do
And
that.
I wouldn't do that anyways.
Right.
Like, but I'm not.
It was too much of a wallet signaling thing to me of people being like, yeah, I'll pay $100 to go ride. Well, guess what? That sets a terrible precedent for everybody else because not everybody can. I can't afford $100 to go ride.
But how much do you think that this will affect new people, new riders?
Maybe more, maybe less.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Again, but then you still have the open ride days. The, $20,
Right, yeah.
$30 practice, open practice, split groups, that deal. Nighttime, the nighttime deal. It's still an option. You're not taking away. It's just now an option.
I have noticed Facebook groups are growing
Yep.
because people are bored.
Yep.
So I think there's people that didn't even know about Kingsville and Grain Valley, let's say, that are finding out about them. That they have dirt bikes. They just didn't know that, we can go practice out there. We don't have to be a professional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think new people, I think you'll see more new people.
It's going to be real interesting, too, because all this shit's crammed on top of each other now. And we're going to have 3 new tracks in the city. At least 2 new tracks. You know?
Also, something else that'll be really interesting, see what happens with MX Sports and then Loretta's. At what point do they just open the floodgates? I mean, it sounds like it's going to be sooner than later. Like, we won't have to go to the super regional option.
It sounds like it's, well, yes, but it's either going to be super regionals or it's a 2-week-long national.
Yeah.
Like, which will be totally different.
I really hope neither of those happen.
They're doing a esports version for MX versus ATV.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I saw that. All right, boys, that smell of pizza's getting to me.
Yeah, me too.
Let's eat. Anything you'd like to say?
Mega Camp.
Oh, yeah, Mega Camp 2020.
Mega Camp 2020. Registration is open, and we are over half full, and registration has been open for less than 5 days.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So if you're planning on coming, you need to sign up.
Yeah.
No matter what bike skill, whatever. It's literally the best camp you can go to. It's not a trade show. It's not a... we categorize you where you need to be, and you have dudes with a whole lot of experience telling you what to do, and you're going to ride more than you probably want to ride.
Yep.
And we've got a lot of cool stuff kind of behind the scenes in the work that's going to make it a lot of fun outside of just the riding. So
free shit, fun times, and learning to get better at your dirt bike.
And it's a bar to bar.
And at bar to bar, yeah. Yeah.
So win.
Yep.
Win.
Mikey G?
No. Let's do it again.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. Over the Bars is brought to you by Bar to Bar MX in Wichita, Kansas, Donnells Motorcycles, Keaton Fawn Holtz Real Estate, the Kansas Motocross Championship Series, the Missouri Vintage Motocross Championship Series, Fox, Lapking, UFO. I think that's it. And Innovative MX, BOOMrc, Rippinruts, Gimmick Coffee, the official coffee of hard work.
And the official coffee of OTB.
And the official coffee of OTB. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So that's all. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Or we'll hear you next time. You'll hear us next time.
You'll hear us next time.
Yeah.